All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Cloud Ninja Podcast. Today we're joined with our regular co-host, my guy Free Game Nino the Third, and of course we have a special guest today, the biggest, and I mean the biggest Sanjay Uchiha.
Yo.
Yo. Hey, yo, shout out to Sanjay Uchiha. He hasn't been on in a long time, so let's give him a round of applause. Sorry, I was far away from the mic, so let me give him a round of applause.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back,
Thank
my
you.
brother. Welcome back, my brother.
Been
Big
a while.
facts,
Been
big
a
facts.
while.
Big facts. You and Kita Maki always make me feel like home, partner. I ain't about to
Yeah,
lie, Jamaican
Man,
accents.
man. No pressure,
facts,
man.
facts. I ain't got the accent no more, but
I never had the accent. I never had
we, we,
Oh,
we brethren at the end of the day. We still come
yeah.
from the same land.
Yeah, of
So
course, same thing. Wagwan midday, same thing, same thing.
Definitely.
facts,
Definitely.
facts, 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 facts. But what was we talking about backstage though? Let's
Oh yeah,
reiterate.
when the anime's coming back, or not even just when the anime comes back. We were talking about, well, I said this is like one of the best times to take a break from Boruto content because I think the anime should be starting back up or ramp. We should hear some sort of rumors after Jump Fest. I believe so. This is my prediction. But I
Why
think
Jump
because
Festa has been such a disappointment. So I just want to know your
no,
opinion.
I'm not expecting anything to come from Jump Fest. I'm saying after Jump Fest, I think we should start
Oh,
hearing some
got you,
rumors.
got you, got you, got
Yeah,
you, got you, got you.
yeah. My thing is like we've been hearing a whole bunch of stuff. Like for example, I forgot the actual studio name. How do I forget the studio name? I think Studio
Para,
Perriot. Yeah,
para,
or Pero,
para.
however you want to call it. We've been hearing that they've been working on it. We've been hearing that a whole bunch of stuff has been like in the works, and of course the rumors about Boruto, potentially starting back in 2026. Again, no one really knows, and it's never really been confirmed. But I personally believe like it's too much rumblings for nothing to come out like after Jump Fest, in my personal opinion.
What sources is saying that it's coming out in 26? Like what credible sources?
No, I said it's not confirmed. There's no credible source, but just the fact that it's already in production, I think
Hmm.
it makes sense for it to be a 2026 type of thing, and for it to be,
Oh,
and hypothetically, if it does release in 2026, let's just say fall, let's say September 2026, I expect something to be said like in the first quarter of 2026. I don't expect it to be a silent release. Like they're not Drake, they're not dropping an album like that.
stupid.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
I remember when
Because
we had the. No, sorry. Go ahead, bro. You're the guest.
no, because I'm saying, man, like, I mean, personally, I don't really expect the Boruto anime till 2027 personally. But
Mm,
it would be crazy, even if Bar is not expecting anything from Jump Festa. If it's even like a teaser trailer for something, I'm actually expecting that at Jump Festa, man. Because I mean, between the elusive 4 additional Part One Naruto episodes that we're still yet
yeah.
to get an
Oh my
update
days.
on, yeah, between that and I think even the article on the official Naruto website regarding part 2 of the Boruto anime, quote unquote, I think that even came out before the announcement for the 4 episodes. So something for between the Boruto anime and those 4 episodes needs to be shown at Jump Festa, man, because at this point it's crazy. And thinking about it, right? Next year, when you if you do the math, well, you don't even have to do the math, but next year makes 10 years of Boruto, technically speaking. Like if you were to really exclude the Boruto Naruto the movie and start with like the fact that the manga started in 2016, yeah. So next year is like 10 years. So I'd be surprised if they don't do something special for next year.
Yeah, for a fact. I mean, the 4 Naruto episodes that really got me too. One of the things that like kind of opened my eyes, and this might be a reason as to why they're not really like pressing it so much. Like I don't know if you've seen the report, but Naruto has been like the most popular anime on Netflix for the first half for 20.
Yeah, and Boruto is number one in Japan.
Yeah, I was about to say 2024, but 2025. Potato time. You get the point.
No,
I'm
no, no. I was just saying
no, yeah, I
Japan. Yeah, yeah.
now I
Okay.
get you. So addition to Boruto being the number one on that, but also Naruto on Netflix is like super huge
Right.
as well.
Facts.
I think they just in their minds just think like Naruto is gonna be there like anyway. It's always gonna be there whenever they want to release it. So hypothetically, if they say hey, we're gonna postpone it for 2 years, in 2 years it's still gonna be some of the biggest content that their release is going to be some of their biggest money makers, specifically the 4 episodes I'm talking about. So I think like that doesn't necessarily make them like want to press it so much. I feel like Naruto is like the nuclear option if they want to make money type of thing. Like if they want to make
Nuclear
money, just
option.
release a Naruto movie.
You don't think they can do the same with Boruto though?
I don't think so. Boruto is kind of interesting. I think Boruto, to be honest, it hasn't necessarily lived up to the reputation of Naruto. And I think hypothetically, if someone like Ikimoto, who is supposed to be like the heir apparent to Masashi Kishimoto, I think like it should be burning him the most. So like even if it is a big money maker, I think he still wants to make it like as big as possible. Still Masashi Kishimoto as well. So it's like it's different. Whereas Naruto, like the legacy is already cemented with Naruto, and Naruto is still already still crushing it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe one of the things like I like heavily criticize Boruto for, and this could be like going against the idea of them essentially pushing for Boruto. They haven't
Oh,
necessarily done like a
Boruto
whole.
critic. I
Hmm?
never would thought that I hear Bara say he's a critic on Boruto. Wow,
Down
wow,
what? Down what?
bro, hell must have freezing over.
No, I'm speaking logically. The thing about Boruto, I feel like they haven't necessarily went all in, and this goes against what I just said. Maybe because they automatically know that Boruto has the reputation of being the Naruto next generation. But I would have expected multiple movies. I expected multiple different like spin-off manga series, and of course we got some spin-off manga series. But after like a minute, like we haven't gotten a lot. So
Yeah.
things like they haven't necessarily done with Boruto what they did with Naruto when Naruto was running,
Like,
when Naruto was in his prime. Like they had multiple video games come out, multiple movies. They weren't even like canon movies, just movies for the hell of it. So like
and they did a
Boruto just
lot
hadn't
of
done that.
justice on doing the side characters. Like the side characters are sorry, I'm far away from you. The side characters are like none and void. At least with the manga though. Like the anime, they try their best to incorporate the side characters, but as far as the manga go, you see them far little in between. Besides Inishi Control and like people of that nature.
Mhm.
And, and you know, Barry, you brought up a good point, and it's something we've kind of touched on before. Where, you know, when it comes down to Boruto, like compared to Naruto, like there's legitimately no Boruto movie, even though there is a Boruto movie, if you know what I mean, because
Yeah.
it's still subtitled Boruto Naruto the movie, right? So yeah, there's no like specific games, there's no movies, there's it, and I mean, I guess you could still chalk it up to the change in the culture where I guess the industry is right now. But I think it's still telling that, yo, yeah, Boruto probably just isn't really carrying it like that. Even though I guess revenue wise, for I think, what was it, Fuji TV? Is it Fuji TV? Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I believe
And
so. Yeah.
yeah, it does well, but I just think in the eyes of like the community, it's like, it's not the same, or at least if we're basing it on those metrics that you just pointed out. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not the same, man.
Yeah, I don't think the production behind it is going as hard as the Naruto production was, type of thing. But in this, right, I think this is why Freegame said something. I still believe Boruto is more entertaining than Naruto Part One, in my personal opinion. All due respect to Naruto Part One.
I did
And
not say that. I did not say that.
no, that's what I'm saying. But what I would say is I have to acknowledge the greatness of Naruto Part One. Like again, we just talked about Naruto Part One is still the number one watched anime on Netflix for the first half of this year. So it's like
Oh, you
I
said
have to acknowledge the
Naruto.
greatness.
Sorry.
So wait,
Yeah,
wait, just out of curiosity, Bara, like when you say it's more entertaining, are we basing it on the anime? Are we basing it on the part one manga, or like what are we basing it on?
well, in all fairness, I haven't really seen Naruto Part One manga, but I would
Mm-hmm.
venture to say the Boruto manga is probably more interesting, simply because the anime I think is more interesting, and I believe the manga of Boruto is more interesting than the anime.
Hmm. Yeah, because the reason why I asked is just that, of course, like how if I were to ask like a random person, hey, do you like Boruto? And they say they hate it, I'm like, oh, did you only watch the anime? And I'm say, yeah. But like in terms of you saying you find it more entertaining than Naruto Part One, I'm just wondering if you're just basing that on your experience reading the manga, because if it's just based on the anime, I would definitely disagree. But if it's just based on the part one manga, you may have an argument, in my
Nah,
opinion.
no, I'm basing off the anime. I'm basing off that, and I kind of understand
Mm-hmm.
where other people don't necessarily agree with that. We went through
Yeah.
like a whole audit last week. We pretty much went through all the Boruto animes, anime arcs, and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie, most of them, like if I and you could probably go back to my videos as well. I give most of the arcs like a 7 or 8, probably some
Mm-hmm.
of them 9. And a lot of people didn't necessarily like for example, the Sumine arc. People didn't really care for it because they were just waiting for the tuning exam. I thought that was an elite arc. The Gaiden arc as well. Same thing with that. A lot of
Yeah.
people didn't necessarily like it. It was more fan service because, of course, it was Sasuke and Sarada, so people did like it. But let's be honest, people were just saying, "Hey, all right, let's get to the Otsuskis," and they didn't really care
Mm-hmm.
about that. After
You
that,
know,
there's the Mist Village arc. So it's like all those things I was entertained by, but a lot of people just didn't care because they wanted to get to the manga content.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that, man, because I think I remember an argument I made a few well, more than a few years back when it came on to the Boruto anime. It's like it's in this strange place in my mind, right? Because probably similar to you, I think a lot of the arcs were decent. I didn't mind the Sumeri one. Of course, keeping up with the Uchiyas was decent, definitely. The field trip to the Mist. I really enjoyed the graduation exam. Of course, Boruto versus Kakashi. I really love that. Um, of course, I think we had some in between episodes, and then we had
Mhm.
the Momoshiki arc and all of that. And but I think what it is when it comes down to the Boruto anime is that on the positive side, a lot of the arcs I think are decent, but it kind of simultaneously feels like it's dragging on way too long, right? In the
No,
grand
for
scheme
sure.
of things.
In
Yeah.
a way, I
I
get
know
what you're.
in a way too. Sorry, to cut you off, Bar.
Mhm.
But in another aspect, I wish a couple arcs would have been a lot longer. Like it was just probably like 4 episodes of villains, like Deepa, and multiple other characters, and their life was short lived. Like they got to short try fast. As far as like, I hate to bring back to Naruto, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a force to reckon with. Like it was hard to kill them. They had so many like jutsus and tricks up their sleeves, and
Hmm.
I Kabuto, not Kabuto. What's his name? The Rinnegan? Nagato.
Pain. Yeah.
Nagato. Yeah. Damn, lost my train of thought. But yeah,
Yeah, it was a lot harder to kill the Naruto and enemies. Like they had a lot more hacks and stuff like that, or they not necessarily more, but they utilized more hacks. Like, but one of my biggest problems with the Boruto anime is how they structured specific arcs, and I thought that's
Mm-hmm.
what made it more drawn out. Like, for example, I thought the Mitsuki retrieval arc was one of the best Boruto arcs, but the
Mm-hmm.
first like 10, 15 episodes was just like slice of life BS. And don't get me wrong, it was still conflict, but it was like it was
Yeah.
slow. It was like, and then like the last 5 to 7 episodes, then we get the Mitsuki versus Lord Coup, then we get the Boruto and Sarada versus Seki, and the other synthetic human beings. Like then we get the Mitsuki Sage mode. Like that should have been the case like through most of the arc. And don't get me wrong, there was some like when Mitsuki at first went rogue, but like in the middle, you give me like 8 to 10 episodes of just random slice of life. People find their heart of stone. It's like, what are we doing here? It's like,
And
I mean, but
that's a good point, man. Oh, sorry, free game. Go ahead.
no, I wasn't gonna say you can see that. You can say that with the Naruto series too, because we were watching it week by week. It was a lot of like slice of life stuff and like filler arcs and stuff like that. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can really gripe on a Boruto anime for like
nah,
um
I think it was different. It's
sending
I
art.
think it's super different.
Yeah,
It's
just
go
sorry, just to cut you, man. Just to kind of just I don't want to say summarize, but just to put it in a nutshell, I think what it is when you compare that, just leaving the manga out of it, right, and compare the anime versions of like Naruto, say Naruto Part One and Boruto Part One. I think what it comes down to is a sense of progression and escalation. I think that's the issue that the Boruto anime has, where even though like Part One Naruto had a lot of filler, but a lot of that filler was towards the back end, like from episode 140 to 219. A lot of the progression and escalation was in those first, from episode 1 to the end of the fight between Naruto and Sasuke, right? And but I think when it comes on to Boruto, even though there are like escalating, stakes within each arc, it kind of feels like when you start the next arc, there's this, for lack of a better term, almost feels like there's this soft reboot. And then because a lot of persons gave the anime a chance, like even just casual, like modern, like anime reaction channels and everything, and then Pearson just started dropping it because he just felt like it wasn't really. It was simultaneously feels like it was going somewhere but not going anywhere at the same time, really and truly. And if you really compare the feeling of watching, say, Naruto, versus Boruto, no matter if you feel Boruto's better or Naruto's better, you can objectively say that there was this sense of escalation and progression within those first 140 episodes,
Yeah.
despite even if going from art to art, there was this. It was not even the same as Boruto. It just felt like it was escalating. There was progression. We're going somewhere. So that's the thing. Versus Boruto now, where most of the progression and escalation really, it's within the arcs, as I said, but it just feels like there's a soft reboot after each arc.
Yeah, and another thing, I get where Free Game is coming from, where it's like sometimes Naruto could be that, but Boruto was that like a majority of the arcs. Like a lot of them just start off super slow, and then most of the action and 10 parts are just like centered at the end of the arc, and then we got to start all over again. People just get disengaged as well. And I think this was like one of the biggest problems with like specific Boruto arcs, because the first few episodes were so slow, fans would get disengaged and would not care once it actually picked up. I thought that was like a big problem.
Exactly.
We never really got like something that hooked the fan base into the specific arc. Now we got that in episode 1 that hooked into the whole entire series, but it's like they just forgot that whole entire blueprint when it comes to the micro arcs. It just didn't happen. I think one of the biggest examples of this was one of the novels that came to the anime. I talked about this a couple pods ago, but it was when Kakashi and Mirai went on that vacation with Mike Guy, and they fought that bootleg Hidan. Like most of the action was done in like the last 2 episodes, but the whole arc was like 7. It was like seven episodes, something like that. So it's like we get like 5 episodes of just Kakashi and Mike Guy just having a best friend slice of life arc. This is like the last 2 episodes. Now we get the bootleg Hidan. It's like, well, we should have had that throughout the whole entire 7 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, especially with what you mentioned with of course, the flash forward with Kawaki, right? Like, say a person who doesn't read the manga, like it's hard to say you get that flash forward, you're coming out of Naruto, and then 100 episodes later, and you still don't see Kawaki. It's like, fam, what's the point? Exactly, fam. So that's the thing.
I think they were trying to grab the hardcore OG Naruto fans, but also trying to market to younger fans as well. And I thought that was like a kind of confusing stance. My big thing was you kind of ruined the first let's just call it the academy student arc with Boruto, because no one cared about that child's kitty stuff. On top of that, everyone's seen the Chunin Exam movie, so no one really thought that the characters were going to die. Like, for example, one thing that should have been super scary was they went on a field trip to the Hidden Mist Village as academy students and fought against Chunin with the 7 swordsmen of the Mist Blades. But no one really thought that Sarada was going to die, because we've seen her like in the Chunin Exam in the movie. No one thought that Boruto would die. We've seen him already. So on and so forth with other characters. So it's like there's no sense of like death. Whereas like if we rewatch The Land of Waves, it's like, yo, they're fighting against the Chunin. Their first Chunin, they might die any moment. Like it was like it's just a different vibe.
One thing I would want to add as well, Doug, is that even though I would say Boruto does get development as well, separate and apart from Sarada, since we're on the Sarada point there, but I think because Boruto's most of his like initial character growth and development comes from the Chunin exam arc, to a degree, not 100%, but to a degree, I think this kind of forces Boruto's character for a lot of the anime to be kind of stagnant as well. You know,
Mm.
I could be
Yeah.
wrong on that, but I think probably to a degree they kind of have to hold off, or maybe from arc to arc, certain things kind of have to be subtly repeated when it comes on to his character as well. That's one take I'd probably put forward.
Yeah, and to be honest, I kind of argue it is arguably worse because the thing about Boruto is that the first 50 episodes before the Shooting Game arc came, he was seen as being a genius. He was seen as being like one of the smartest people in his class. Arguably, like well, he was already tuning level, things like that. But in the movie, like he's like a dunce. He just and he's losing to like his fellow classmates. So it's like I thought he was a genius. Now he's losing to Shikadai. I don't know. And he's forced to use like scientific technology. So it's like they've regressed his character back to like what he was in Shooting Exam just to match it. I just didn't understand that. I understood it, but it was just like it was just a bad decision, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, man. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
It was just
um,
but
I mean, mhm.
I was saying overall though, when it comes to the Boruto anime, the reason why I prefer it is that they kind of ask the question: what would you rather go back and rewatch, Naruto or Boruto? I'm picking Boruto. Like, I'm sorry. Like, for example, like I can't wait to if I start for episode 1, I can't wait to see the Sumune battle, Sumune fighting against Boruto and Mitsuki. I can't wait to see the Sasuke and Sarada scene. I can't wait to see Momoshiki fight against Naruto and Sasuke. Those battles, my personal opinion, is like way more entertaining than like. Honestly, the Land of Waves, the Zabuza versus Kakashi, those fights are more entertaining than I don't know the Guard versus not even Guard. Let's call it Shikaku versus Naruto. Like in my personal opinion, like and Guard is my favorite character, but I'd much rather watch a Momoshiki versus Naruto and Sasuke. I'd much rather watch a Jigen versus Naruto and Sasuke. I'd much rather watch Ichigo Tsuki go off against Barrymore Naruto. Stuff like that, I just rather watch.
Yeah, I get you. But those are definitely high level fights, though, man. I don't know if I would compare like that Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki fight, for instance, dog. Like, if I were to compare it to like its equivalent in say Naruto to Naruto Shippuden, I would have to pick like a Shippuden fight or
Yeah,
maybe some of the top fights, you know.
yeah,
But
and it's my point. When the Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki battle dropped, I said at the time I thought it was the best anime fight of all time. Like, so like stuff. I can't necessarily say Naruto is better than that. Like, this is the best anime fight I've ever seen at the time.
yeah, like I get it. Listen, if I was doing like reaction videos during the Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki fight, bro, I listen, I would I would have lost it on cam, to be honest. But I think that's the thing though. Like I think 99.9% of persons enjoy that fight, right? Like crazy.
Mm.
But I just don't think persons would use one slice of the pie to justify the rest of it not being as hot, you know? So that's the thing. And I think, for example, who was it? Which other YouTuber was saying basically saying the same point where like, you watch all these episodes to get up to these select points that are really good, but it's like everything else lead in between or leading up to it, it's not really pushing as it should be. And it kind of brings me to like one thing I like if it were up to me in terms of the direction where the franchise would go after the Naruto Shippuden anime ended, is that the Boruto anime could have waited, in my personal opinion, because you have all this content, especially when Naruto ended in 2014. There was so much hype and push for this quote unquote Naruto New Era project where you had all these novels. And even outside of the novels, a lot of persons were saying, yo, you could have done maybe like a legacy or a prequel series, etc., to stuff persons wanted to see per se. And I think with that, you could have put the Boruto anime in a position where probably not as drawn out. And when I say drawn out, I mean like the time between release, say like Demon Slayer. But you could have done maybe like some 12 to 24 anime Boruto seasons, right? You could probably still include some of the or even some of the stuff from the anime. You could have probably done as like some OVAs for the Boruto anime stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reception would have been better because just to end on this before I just leave the stage for now because I think I'm yapping at this point.
No, no, no. You make good points.
um What I was gonna
You
say is that
hello?
yeah, you hearing me?
Yeah.
No, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that one thing I've noticed, for example, I think persons like Rogers Base is a good example, or I just general feeling. Bear with me here. Is that persons that switch from the Boruto anime to the manga have a complete 180 in terms of their perception of the Boruto series.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
one thing I have noticed. And to
Yeah.
me, that means that, yo, if it was a case where the Boruto anime would say instead of starting in 2017, started in, I don't know, maybe the pandemic, maybe 2020, who knows? Give it
Mm-hmm.
some more time to bake, and then you kind of adapt the manga. Great animation, great art, great music, kind of concise. 12 to I'd say 12 to 24 episodes. Still have some room for some of the material from the anime, just to kind of qualitatively pad it, qualitatively, not quantitatively, but you get the point. I
Yeah.
think the reception would have been so much better at that point. Because
From
I was telling my friends like, yo dogs, like when Two Blue Vortex gets animated, yo, look out for it. And it's like, they're like, you know, I'm like, okay, fine.
I, no, I agree with that for
one
sure.
one
My,
thing that I
go
want
ahead.
to add is sorry, Bar. Um,
Hmm.
one thing that I want to add is I don't want to get off topic, but they were said that Kaguya wasn't supposed to be invented, and it was just supposed to be the um the start to a new generation, pretty much. Like they
Yeah,
introduced those Suskis so they can introduce those Suskis to Boruto. And Boruto is always supposed to happen. Chapter 700 of the Naruto series, you see Boruto.
yeah, for a fact. So yeah, correct. They basically said they created the Otsuki clan for Boruto, which makes me wonder, like, they it makes me believe they should have started the Boruto manga a lot earlier than they actually did. But I get they had to finish the Naruto chapter or the Naruto manga before they started the Boruto manga, which is understandable. But it just,
I
since you already
mean,
had the
it's a way
idea, like,
to introduce the characters though. Like it's a big staple series, so why not add them into the ending where everybody's going to watch? So it's just hinting towards a new series, so people can be intrigued. Like, who's this little kid and Naruto's son, and Naruto had a kid. Like, people are interested in that.
yeah, true. But on top of piggyback on what my guy Sanjay said, hypothetically, if they did that, then took, let's say, 3 years to just develop the, it wasn't 3, it was 4 years. It took 4 years to develop the manga. Now we have what, 48 chapters to work with. Now we can actually like legitimately just focus directly on what the Otsuki clan is, and not just hint towards them and wait 50 episodes to potentially get the Momoshiki Otsuki plus Kinshiki Otsuki. I thought they could have potentially done that. What I would say though is, like, I didn't necessarily mind the idea and concept of anime canon, just because the Boruto manga was a monthly manga, and that was kind of weird at the time. Like, there was other mangas that was at the time that were monthly as well, like Dragon Ball Super, I believe, adopted the monthly schedule. But it was just like you didn't necessarily get as much content as you should have to like consistently have the anime like running the way it was running. So like for so hypothetically, if you did have like potential like gaps and holes in the boards of manga, the anime should have filled that. The problem though is that the anime didn't fill it, or they did, but it was very minuscule. Most of it was just anime stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with the manga. I believe if they had most of the arcs geared towards the manga, a lot of people would have liked it. For example, the Kata Actuation arc, Free Game talks about it all the time, how that was one of the best anime only arcs of all time because
Yo,
it was geared towards the
trust
manga. It
me.
was plugging storylines and plugging holes that the manga just didn't necessarily get to. I thought that most of the anime canon arcs should have essentially been like that. The first 50 arcs should have been about the Otsuki clan. I mean, the first 50 episodes should have been about the Otsuki clan, in my personal opinion.
And then peep this, especially with the Kara activation arc. Like, think about it, right? Deepa was over the course of what, two arcs, two, 3 arcs. There's that
Yeah,
sense of progression and escalation. And of course, those are the arcs that are like the anime canon arcs that I think are the absolute best, bro. To be honest, I love those arcs. So
yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
four.
I think
Hmm.
no, I was gonna say that, and then you can ask the question like, and I usually I'll ask anybody this like, do you believe if say the Boruto anime started in if they scheduled it for like say 2020 or 2021 to start instead of 2017, do you believe the anime would have still started with the Academy Diaz first?
Absolutely.
I think it would have been significantly less episodes. It'd have probably been like instead of like 3 whole arcs, it'd have probably been like the first 5 episodes,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Just like how
Yeah.
Naruto was.
Facts.
Yeah, so you want to have the flashbacks of Academy Boruto. You want to have the flashbacks of Academy Star to see where they're coming from. But after that, yeah, let's get into the business. Let's get into the business. Start the tuning exam. I think that's what they would have done. Honestly, it it would have been fair. And to be honest, like going past that, I wouldn't even mind if they just completely canceled out the tuning exam arc and just went past that. Like, hey, here's Otsuki. I mean, here's like the arcs after that, and of course the arcs after that was the Mitsuki retrieval arc. Even that I didn't necessarily mind, but it was just like it had minimum to do with the Kata organization. The one thing that had to do with the Kata organization was the outsider, the scientist that was feeding information to Amato, and they just didn't necessarily play that up as much as I believe they should have. But honestly, the first 50 episodes, the most entertaining parts about the first 50 episodes were geared to manga content. When Momoshiki and Kinshiki was on that faraway dimension, eating a chaga fruit on that stump of a tree, everybody thought that was like one of the best scenes at the time, like of Boruto. Well, I remember doing a review of that, and everybody was like, "Yeah, the episodes of 10 just because of the last 2 minutes of the episode, just because we've seen Momoshiki, Tonetti popping up in Boruto's memories and stuff like that. That was elite as well. Tonetti getting sealed by Urishiki Otsutsuki, like that was elite. Like stuff like that should have been happening all throughout the first 50 episodes, and not just flout anime canon stuff or anime canon arcs in general."
Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree.
Mm. Yeah,
But
but
how would they start off with the first five? What if nobody watched the movie though? Because you don't get. I mean, I guess kids will watch it in the movie theaters,
well,
but just like the minor minor majority of people
well,
who hasn't seen it.
yeah, one thing I would like credit Boruto with is like they wouldn't necessarily. I
Oh,
mean,
they
they did.
changed scenes too.
No, I feel, but one thing I credit Boruto with is they didn't necessarily spam flashbacks like how Naruto did. But for the beginning of Boruto, I wouldn't mind them spamming the flashbacks to fill the audience in on specifically what happened in the tuning exam. My thing about the tuning exam is that it was aired 3 separate times. So this is like even even when the tuning exam was playing in the anime, of course everybody was waiting to get to the tuning exam. I was like, yeah, finally we get the manga content. But it was like, hey, this is the same thing we see in the movie. What's different? And of course, everybody was keyed in on episode 65 because that was completely different. Everybody thought that was like 10 out of 10, way better. But like most of it was like kind of like uh, people were kind of tired of it, in my personal opinion. But even past that, I feel like hypothetically, if you do like a bunch of flashbacks, and you do especially like the Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki fight, have that be a flashback similar to how the Kinshiki and Sasuke fight was a flashback. I thought that would have been fun. I thought that would have sufficed. And then we get into the rest of the stuff. Then we get to the Kado organization. Then we get to Boruto's Karma still. Then we get Kawaki's introduction. I thought if you take it from that and have Kawaki be introduced in like in the first 100 episodes, I thought it would have been fine. That would have been elite.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. But my big thing though, when it comes to comparing Naruto and Naruto and Boruto,
Yeah.
I again most of the arcs I like. Even if we're discussing the anime only arcs that again should have been way better than what they were, should have been geared to the manga. I like them. For example, like some arcs that people just absolutely despise. The Funato arc, I thought that was elite when it comes to like writing. Like it basically taught Boruto the cycle of hatred. It was like super important for his character development, and a lot of people just skipped the whole entire arc. I thought it was great. Like I'd rewatch that arc. I rewatched Boruto versus Sekie. Like that was, I thought that was elite fight.
Hands
Hey,
up. I mean, to be honest, I haven't finished the Fanato arc.
Oh
to
my
be honest.
days. See, this is what I'm talking about.
to be honest. To be
cool.
honest.
This
That's
is
cool.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Sanjay,
Bro,
I'll as a Boruto anime hater, not a hater, but like I won't watch it from beginning to end.
yeah.
Funaka art was actually pretty fire.
Okay.
Yeah, fact.
The Deepa episode was fire. Like it was a lot of fire episodes in it, but I do think Naruto overshadows it.
Mm. And what I would say, and to be honest, well, first things first, 100%. I think the Boruto stuff is it just doesn't necessarily get as much credit because people weren't as interested in it, and because what I talked about earlier, the beginning of the arcs just started significantly slow and then it picked up, so they don't necessarily retain the audience that it should have. In my personal opinion, the arc structure was just absolutely atrocious. But like on the other end, like I don't know, I just think a lot of the Naruto stuff, in my personal opinion,
Yeah.
it was good for the time, but Boruto just elevated it. It just elevated to a completely different level in regards to the fights. Not necessarily storyline. Don't get me wrong. Naruto storyline, I think, in my personal opinion, is still goated. But when it comes to like watchability, Boruto, in my personal opinion, is it. Is it?
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too, but
I understand why people disagree though. I understand for sure. I understand.
yeah, because all right, like one thing I would say, like you mentioned, like Boruto, and this kind of comes back to the sense of progression and escalation, and I guess I'll throw in connectivity there between the arcs in terms of issues. But like you said, like the Funato arc kind of taught Boruto about the cycle of hatred, but like the issue kind of resurfaces where it's like after that can we see that reflected in his character, you know, like how after the whole Pian arc you could see the whole conflict with Pian is, you know, it's reflected in Naruto's character going forward, so there still feels like there's that connective tissue, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it still comes back to that from like individual arcs in Boruto can tend to be on average decent to good, but it's like the connective tissue between them is like so it just lacks that escalation and progression overall, all the
Yeah.
same.
And shout out my guy Melo, because I understand he'd be criticizing me to high heavens for saying this, but I think it's implied in what Boruto does. For example, like when he was hiding from a bunch of the Hidden Leaf ninjas when he got saved by Kashin Koji, he didn't want to kill anybody because he understood what that would create. It would create a cycle of hatred and, of course, a cycle of more violence. Because of, I believe that's comes from what he learned from the Funato arc. Not only that, like even currently, like he doesn't want to go back to the Hidden Leaf Village and start a whole drama with Kawaki and expose Kawaki because he knows that's just going to start more hatred and more violence. It just creates a cycle. Again, they're not necessarily saying that outwardly, but I think that heavily informs a lot of what Boruto's decision making is as of right now. Mel would be cursing me out right now. Yeah, that's my personal opinion.
Probably Bella was here. It's like, oh, so what did he do? Like, what did he do, Baro? Like, you know, I think Bella was probably asking. The only issue I take with that is that, and this kind of even expands beyond Boruto to Dragon Ball as well, where it's just this multiple continuities deal, right? Where I definitely can see what you're saying in terms of Boruto's decision, in terms of how he wants to approach a conflict with Kawaki. But with is because at this point, in fact, let me get my words straight. At this point, I think the only anime arc that has been confirmed to be in the same continuity would be just a trip to the Mist Village. And I know we could probably use that to say like everything in the anime is still in continuity with the manga.
I assume he's in the manga.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. What everybody else apparently is on a vacation to the moon, apparently. Yeah. So, I mean, what would they say? Correlation doesn't mean causation, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I'll just end it like that. Yeah, for sure. But I guess we could talk about the current scene of Boruto now.
But no pressure, man.
All right. So one of the, I guess, discussions that me and my guy Black Uchiha I had last week. I thought Sarada at this particular point is way too overpowered for her only upgrade to be a Mangekyo Sharingan. It's absurd. Now don't be wrong. I appreciate the absurdity because I'd hate for her to become a Sakura Part 2 where she's just paying lip service to being equal to Sasuke and
Mm-hmm.
Naruto. I want her to actually be up there with Boruto and Kawaki. Likely it's probably not going to happen, but I want her to be up there with the echelons and not
You
just
want my
saying it.
you want my extensive, genuine opinion?
Hey man, your last name was Uchiha. I know you about to get started. To talk to
Nah,
me.
quite the opposite, bro. Quite the
Okay,
opposite.
I like this. I like this.
I did. When was it? I think I did a stream. I was supposed to do a video called the Beyond Jigen issue, right? And I've just been super lazy, so I haven't done it. So crucify me. But yeah, I wanted to do like a Beyond Jigen issue video, right? Because I kind of agree. While on one side, when it comes down to the Naruto universe, right? I will say that yeah, character A can be stronger than character B, but if character B has like a hacks ability, then they can be character A. Like how I would say, Hashirama beats Obito, but objectively, if Obito definitely catches him in Kamui, it's over, right? Like I think we can all agree with that. Unless he can probably reverse some of himself from the Kamui dimension, maybe I don't know. but but I kind of have a subtle issue with how things are being power scaled right now in Boruto. And honestly, if Kishi and Ikimoto aren't careful, I think it's gonna be borderline the same type of nonsensical escalation of power for the characters like Dragon Ball Super's anime.
Yes, Kale and Khalifa, talk to me.
Kale Khalifa, Android 17. Certain jumps in power can be done, but it has to make sense, right? And I broke it down on one of my streams earlier in the year like this, right? Think about it. You have almost 60 to 100 years since Madara and Hashirama were in their prime and alive, right? And Madara comes back, and Madara is absolutely disappointed with the top tiers of the verse in the modern age, which would be the 5 Kage, quote unquote, right? He gets that Rinnegan power up, cool. You have 10 Tails Obito that's stronger than him, quote unquote. Then you have 6 Pass Naruto and Sasuke that are stronger than them. Then you have 10 Tails Madara, right? And then you have Naruto and Sasuke who, let's say on paper, just work with me, on paper, have 15 years of training, so they're supposedly way stronger than 10 Tails Madara and all, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Then you have Jigen, who's stronger than Naruto and Sasuke, no issue, right? Cool. And now you have these, you have these divine trees that are supposedly stronger than Jigen, and the core that's stronger than Jigen too. And you're going to tell me Sarada makes this ridiculous jump from, you could say, I don't know, early Shippuden levels to like beyond 10 Tails Madara, beyond Naruto, beyond Sasuke. It doesn't make sense for that type of jump. It seems nonsensical to me, to be honest.
I mean, Kakashi did was able to compete with Kaguya.
I mean, he had
Mangekyo though.
Dual Mangekyo, which still had some 6 parts powers in it. Fine, we gotta put all the details on the table.
Where did he get the 6 parts power from?
When Kakashi had made a comment on Obito's eyes, it seems like Obito's eyes still has some 6 parts powers left in it as well.
Shot the panel.
Yeah, I would have to look.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, so to me, it's like that jumping power doesn't make sense to me, fam, honestly speaking. And it was one of the things I was kind of concerned about, where it's not like with Kawaki and Boruto, where when you put everything on the table in terms of what they have in their inventory box, it makes sense for those two to make the jumping power that they did, right? I think it's logical, like, because okay, if Naruto and Sasuke can fight Momoshiki, right? If Momoshiki can keep up with 50% Naruto and drain Sasuke as a team, if I just add all of that Momoshiki to Boruto, then logically, then Boruto should be technically at that level too, right? Logically.
Logically, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Naruto is 100 and Sasuke is 99 and Momoshiki is like a 70 and Boruto's like a, I don't know, a 0.1, through karma, if I add that 70 to Boruto, yeah, and plus the experience of Momoshiki with it, yeah, Boruto is gonna be like a 70 point something. No, if you're just doing it based on just literal math like that.
I wouldn't necessarily do it like that because this is an argument that I had with Naruto and Karma. Boruto now transforms the power of Momoshiki. He makes it his own, and now it kind of like multiplies, type of thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, that's just one tidbit of it. I still would have more to say on Boruto rising to power. Yeah. But back to the main point is just that I think I know.
Yeah, I think it's kin to the curse mark. Because the curse mark was his Sasuke power on top of Orochimaru power. So you think it's the same thing, or you think it's a multiplier? Because I think we get like kind of confused. I'm not saying you guys, but like watchers of the Dragon Ball Z, and then like Vegito and Vegeta, they 100 times or 10 times or 20 times the power of whatever. And I don't think it's that. I think it's his chakra on top of Momoshiki chakra.
Yeah, I think it's additive. I don't think it's like multiplied. I just
think
it's
I'm sorry. I thought you said multiplied.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's additive, definitely.
What would you say?
Yeah.
No, I was saying, what would you say, Simon? You had like a point. I completely forgot.
No, I was just going back to the main Sarada point. Like the jump in power is ridiculous, and I know Mello would glaze Sarada like that, like crazy. I know, but like,
I want to give like the counter argument for Mello because I, in some ways, it's not just the Mangekyo Sharingan that's insane. All right, so pick on throwing down. She reacted to Hidari's Shidori. I think that would be like one of the biggest, like, what is going on? Because at that particular point, Hidari was stated to be a character, let's say Sasuke, and being a Shinju, potentially above Jigen. So now Sasuke reacting to characters above Jigen, and then she gets the Mangekyo Sharingan. You could then make the argument, hey, maybe this is where she belongs. But then you have to make, how does she get to above Jigen without the Mangekyo Sharingan?
So the problem, so the problem isn't even that Sarada is this strong. It's just that we're missing context, right? Because who does Sarada train with for 3 years to even get to this level, right? Really and truly.
Mr. Zenkai, just Zenkai boots. Or Genko, or whatever you're called.
Yeah, Zenkai. Because just to even go back to the start of my point, when I was kind of building up from the power scale from like Madara and Hashirama through the war upwards, if characters over the 60 to 100 years who were actively in combat and training couldn't get to that level, they couldn't make that big jump in power, what substantiates Sarada's jump in power? Who does she train with, etc., etc.? There's no context for her to be that strong. And to me, it's kind of like, okay, outside of the plot probably requiring it, no, I have to ask. Yeah, I kind of have to start questioning: are the divine trees really as strong as the plot would make us believe? I gotta start questioning that now too. So
for a fact, I think specifically, I think I question Hidari because I kind of compared his body change to like the Ginyu Force taking over Goku. I don't know if you watched Dragon Ball Z before, but I think Sasuke's body would be more difficult to use than any regular body. Like, for example, let's say Bug. So like a Shinju is not going to know, hey, I can't use a Shidori because I don't have the Sharingan, where Sasuke would know that. Where a Shinju wouldn't necessarily know, hey, I can't grab Sarada like this because she's just going to Shidori stream me, where Sasuke would know that. So, yeah. I think that could be a reason as to why he's that weak. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think it could be like an experience thing on the Shinju's case, basically. Because again, you brought up the a good point with the fact that he used the Shidori without the Sharingan. Um which is still funny to me. But yeah, that's the thing at this point. So like for me, while I won't necessarily argue with someone like Melo to say Sarada's not that strong or she shouldn't be that strong, etc., etc., for me, I like to wait until I see more of a character in combat because for all I know, for all my concerns, it could be a case where next chapter Sarada fights with the Mangekyo Sharingan. Oh, she actually has a time limit. Oh, the gravity eventually affects her body itself. And
Mm.
then it's like, okay, is she could you really say she's really at that level, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
My,
I just need to see more.
and also my thing with the Mangekyo Sharingan, how she actually utilized it. I think it could be a situation where that specific ability worked perfectly against Ryu. I used to call him Shinki, but it worked perfectly against Ryu. One of the things that they talked about during the
Yeah,
actual
for
battle
sure.
was that without his sand, Shinki was essentially equal to what's his name, Araya. He was essentially
Right.
equal to Araya. Now we understand Shinki and Araya aren't necessarily the same, but we've seen what Sari did to Araya during the shooting exam. It was pretty much like it was like a non-contest. You feel me? So like now I'd give Shinki the Shinju boost and give Sarada the Mangekyo Sharingan boost. Like Sarada should still, in my personal opinion, should still kind of be stronger if you take away the sand. I think that could be like the only reason as to why she beat a character like shit like Ryu, why she beat a Shinju. Whereas like hypothetically, if she fights against a character like even let's say Matsuri, or he fights against a character like Mamushi, like she might
Mhm.
lose that battle because they wouldn't necessarily be as as vulnerable without gravity. Let's say.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't
I,
think I agree because it stated that she can manipulate gravity in a certain point. That's why Misi, everybody else wasn't floating, just her. So I don't think that Mamushi would be able to sustain that unless he has some
But
like elite strength and can pull away from the gravity. But other than that, no,
well,
he's going to get disintegrated.
well, it's not necessarily just that. My point is like Shinki without his sand is like an emperor without his clothes. You feel me? It's like he's naked. He can't really
No,
do
I get what
much.
you're saying.
Whereas like Bug, you can't necessarily just take away his sand and he's naked. In Matsuri or Momushi and Matsuri
But
as well, you can't just take away her sand and she's nothing.
but the mechanics of her son is like I said, like she can pinpoint like certain things that she want to put on her gravity. So
But
no matter what Mamushi does, like say he has some secret like bombs or just like some simple shit, and she activates that, all that is going to get sucked into her black hole.
yeah,
So I mean, unless
then we
she
gotta
has
go.
like elite jutsu, but I don't know.
After we get past the sand, hey, Mamushi and the rest don't got the sand. Then we gotta go through other specific abilities that they have. Like hypothetically, could Matsuri fly? I think that would be like a direct that would go against gravity. Like if you fly, you could potentially like go against Sarda's gravitational pull. Whereas
Not
like you wouldn't necessarily
necessarily.
be.
Not
that's the thing.
necessarily.
I would
Not
imagine that
necessarily.
Ryu can fly too, and he couldn't escape.
We no well,
Not
Ryu could only fly with the
necessarily.
sand.
Not necessarily though, because if gravity is pulling you backwards and determine how like strong the gravity is, no matter how fast you fly, you can possibly still get sucked into that gravitational pull, no matter
Yeah,
how.
but then it becomes a strength thing, and this is just me. I believe Sari loses every time when it comes to strength against these Shinjus. I think hypothetically, if they can fly, and I think the only way Shinji could fly was with his sand, and his sand was already gone. Hypothetically, if Mamushi can fly, I think Mamushi's flight force would probably be stronger than Sarada's gravitational pull
Do you
because he's a Shinju.
do you think that Jura like back down when you seen what happened with Matsuri?
Nah.
I mean, right?
Nah.
Like,
When he looked at
I
Sarda and just
don't
said,
want
"All
no
right, I'm
parts.
dipping." Nah.
Yeah.
Again, I think he just realized like his actual target was Boruto, and whatever Sarda was doing, like he didn't really care.
But Boruto wasn't even like he didn't even see Boruto at that point in time. So like he looked at her and he was like, "Oh shit,
But
I don't
but he
want
sensed Boruto. He knew
to."
Boruto was out.
How?
Yeah, he knew he was there before he teleported over.
Oh,
Oh, okay, got you,
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
yeah. So that's the reason why. Whereas, like, again, hypothetically, if she tries to do that thing against Jura, I think Jura's flight doesn't necessarily allow her to get that jutsu off. Whereas Shinki, because he doesn't have his sand, he can't fly. He's just now a victim of gravity.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it could be that, and I could answer like I could be, hey, Sarda isn't really like Jigen level or beyond Jigen level. It's just that her abilities directly go against like the Shinju at that particular point. Like for example, I think if Obito comes back to Naruto, God bless his soul, he probably died to a lot of villains, but there'd be some Shinju he could probably like sneak up on and take out with Kamui. Kamui is super effective,
Yeah.
so it could be like what Sarda is doing.
Yeah, that's what I made the point at the start. Is like, I mean, if you have, I acknowledge in the Naruto universe, if you have a certain hacks,
Mm.
even if somebody is like stronger than you stat wise on paper, then you could technically still beat them. So I acknowledge that, but it's just that for me, I just and yeah, I'm actually on on the stream on YouTube too. You have someone's name. Hold on. Yeah, Galaxy Heat, he was saying like, Jura acknowledged Sarada's power. I just need more context for why Sarada is as powerful as she is outside of just the plot requiring it. Because without that, we're starting to get into some Dragon Ball Super nonsensical drum sim power. And that just does that kind of kills it for me, to be honest.
I
No,
get
it does. It does.
no,
When I was watching Dragon Ball Super weekly, bro, I have a problem with every Dragon Ball Super anime art, bro. Like it makes no sense. Like I love Super, I enjoy it, but
oh my goodness.
objectively, a lot of things just didn't make sense, and I just don't want Boruto from a power scaling standpoint to go down that route.
Oh my days. Remember when Kefla fought against Ultra Instinct Goku? Bro.
Bro, like I don't even want to get started, dog. Like it's crazy, dog.
Yeah, I completely get it. So I think if they could explain stuff like that, it'd be a lot better. Hey, she just out hacks people. But the way I do differ from my god Sanjay, I wouldn't mind if they just say, "Hey, it's BS. Start is just now this strong." Because I like a character that
crazy.
much. I wouldn't mind it. What's it called? There was some I guess we're changing topics a bit. There was a sneak peek that dropped today. Did you see it?
No.
A sneak peek?
Yeah, for chapter 25 of the Boruto manga.
Oh yeah, I did see when they were trying to revive Moegi, right? Moegi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see it.
Drop it in the core.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. Let me see. Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, so I think this like kind of confirms that Jura just doesn't care, right? He could have just saved her,
bro.
Hold on.
I got you right now.
And then it still brings up into question from like from the perspective, from the like Ikimoto's perspective. Like, does it make sense to keep a lot of the Shinju around though? Because kind of like Melo, I've heard Melo say this as well, and I definitely agree. Like the Shinju just feel like right now feel like a stepping stone to something else, like a exaggerated training arc. To be honest,
kind of. And what an interesting theory we talked about on the pod. Like it could be that Code is like this generation Cell. Whereas eventually he's going to find a way to reabsorb all of his minions, let's say, and he becomes even stronger than Jura.
I've been saying that for the longest. I think That'd be a huge plot line to like just throw away.
It'll be funny. Watch Code do that, and then just see like some um probably like if let's just say for argument's sake you have Shibai, right? Strongest thing that ever was. Maybe if there's like a next dimensional tier below Shibai, watch Code just get all of that, and then this next Otsuki just comes out and takes him out like instantly. Yo, I would laugh to be honest.
Yo, so this panel,
Yeah.
are you sure it's real, Bar?
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
It's just fan colored, but it's real.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
they
earlier I almost got caught. They almost caught me. It was like a fake Kawaki sneak peek that came out, but I thought I was about to go crazy. Oh,
Kind of makes me wonder if Boruto is going to be in the village for a little bit, just like I thought. I wouldn't mind seeing him stop by the Uzumaki residence.
I wouldn't mind it either. I wouldn't mind it. To be honest, the only thing is like,
absolutely zero.
what's that?
It's not happening.
The only reason why I could see is because Naruto can like Boruto can conceal his chakra, and the only person that could really call him out for is Kawaki. And I doubt Kawaki would really do it at this point. You feel me? So like,
Yeah,
I think he could in a way. I want to see how the discourse is. I don't know if you remember this, Sanjay, but super early, I think it was like in the first 5 chapters, Sarda was discussing something with Ada, and Ada was like, the only thing that you could do now, she just basically said she can't reverse omnipotence. The only thing that Boruto could do now is like create brand new memories. Boruto created a lot of great memories for characters that just didn't like him. Like, for example, Konohamaru.
Right.
Like, for example, Shikamaru. Like, Shikamaru is going to know what happened on this mission.
Great. And
Like, characters like that, the super higher ups, they're going to know that Boruto, even though hypothetically he might have killed the 7th Hokage, I mean, he just saved the Hidden Leaf Village. Like, so I feel like that could like ingratiate himself at least a tad bit to the higher ups in the Hidden Leaf Village.
I think a tad bit, and similar to you, I am looking forward to the discourse because my prediction was that between Shikamaru and Kawaki, there's going to be a discourse between maybe the two of them and the elders, and then the feudal lord. So I'm expecting like that political discourse to happen, maybe to a small degree in maybe in 25 or maybe 26, who knows? Because yeah, you're gonna have to make an argument like, yeah, we want to kill Boruto, but he kind of helped with this new situation. So I'm interested to see what Shikamaru and Kawaki will probably say to the elders and then the feudal lord.
Yeah, exactly. Freaking, what do you think? Do you think you see? So you say there's no chance he stays in the Leaf?
No, because he has so much more he has to like accomplish. Like his goal is not over. He has to get Sasuke back. He has. I don't know if he's interested in the others, but I think his main goal is to get Sasuke back and to defeat the Shinjus. I don't think that he's gonna kumbaya in the Leaf. I think
He
he's
could probably
gonna
stop.
fight Rajan.
He could probably stop for a pit stop. You feel me? Do one of them
Oh yes,
transformations,
yeah,
hop in a Thunder
yeah,
Burger a little bit. You feel me? Grab a burger. What's the
We
problem?
we did talk about him flying Raijin into the Hokage over office and then masking his chakra.
Yeah, and basically cluing, oh my gosh, Shikamaru. Yeah, that's possible. For sure. Yeah, I think that's possible. And not only that, you got a point though, because I for sure want to know what Kashin Koji saw, because he got an update. He got an update, but we haven't really seen or heard what he saw, type of thing. We've seen tad bits, but he got to put it together.
Boruto has to go back so he can dialogue with Koji.
Yeah, fact those. Another interesting thing that we see in this particular situation right here, we see Himawari. It looks like Himawari's back outside. Do you remember where Matsuri was like captured? Was that inside the Hidden Leaf Village?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so it looks like she's.
I think that's the only place he can catch her. Who's with her? I can't see. Hold on, let me.
It's basically Chocho, Konohamaru, Shikadai, and Inojin. The big thing was that she couldn't leave the Hidden Leaf Village because if she does, then Juro would pretty much scoop her up. She's pretty much like an on-site target, just like Boruto.
Hmm. When did they release the targets? Did Boruto tell them?
What you mean?
Nah, I think before the mission to the sun, I think Kashin Koji told I think he told Shikamaru. I think
Mm,
that's when he had mentioned don't let Himawari leave the village. Um so yeah, I think it's about that time if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
gotcha. All
Yeah.
right.
Before we exit this picture, there is some controversy on Twitter about the outfit change of the young girls that we see. Yeah.
I mean, historically speaking, when it comes down to the manga, the outfits have always been a bit more, I guess, raunchier compared to the anime.
Questionable.
But in terms of the outfits, for like part two for Two Blue Vortex, I think they're all right, to be honest.
I did like the design for Karma on the shirt. I think Black Uchiha pointed out in a group chat. Yeah, that's fire. Because now she is like the legitimate Jinchuriki, the brand Jinchuriki.
Sure,
So,
sure.
do you think that like they'll come back as normal persons, or do you think they come back something different?
I think when it comes on to them coming back, if Ikimoto is smart, he will have them have some sort of boost. From even though the ten tails or the trees kind of siphoning them off, I wouldn't mind if it was like a almost a two-way street where it was like, oh, I kind of got some ten tails boosts because of being kind of technically a part of it for a little bit. Because again, kind of goes back to my argument with Sarada. You gotta find ingenious in-universe ways to get stronger, fam. Because if Moegi, for example, is going to take a active role, what are you gonna tell me next? Moegi is above Ten Tails Madara too?
Yeah, I mean, well, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, yeah,
You
that's
see how
crazy.
ridiculous that sounds? You see how ridiculous that sounds?
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'd say that's currently what Sarda is. So yeah, that's great. That's insane. I don't
So
know.
I mean, yeah, it would make sense to just do something like that, to say, okay, you're a part of the thing, got some after effects where, okay, I got this little boost, I can be present and active in taking a part in it. Because to be honest, guys, like one thing I thought they would have done, coming from even the Baron mode chapters, right? Because I mean, obviously, it seems like the idea of like chakra fusion can be a thing. I thought they would have done something like, fuse it with some tech with Amato. Characters can temporarily merge their chakra with some chakra and a device Amato provides to get like a, not necessarily like a Baron one level boost, but
Yeah,
something along
something
the
of
lines
that
of that.
level.
Yeah, kind of think out the box to get the characters as strong, you know, as you need them to be, realistically speaking.
Yeah, for a fact. And to be honest, not even that level. I'd probably even take it a step further. Since we are in a time of like disaster and danger, you should probably have like all the tail beasts on summonings, like summon jutsu immediately. Like hypothetically, you need a Baryon mode. Like all due respect, you're just gonna spawn back in the next 3 years. Like all due respect, not all due respect, eight tails, like 80. Like we need that.
Bro, the tail beasts at this point are like the legacy characters. They're on vacation, bro. They're on vacation.
Yeah, and the
But
crazy thing,
I
most of
mean,
them are just roaming around, right? They're just roaming around
who
random
can be
shows.
who can be the Tentel's ginger sorry, Jinjuriki, because Naruto's dad, not dead, but he's like, you know what I'm saying. He would only be able to get 8, and if I'm not mistaken, only reason why Obito was able to do like a Tentel manifestation is because he had the chakra of Inkaku and Gikaku. That was the only reason why he was able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think they try to do a ten tails now. It'll just be regular tail beasts. Like hypothetically, if they do want to do a Baryon mode type of
Tentel's Jinchuriki, that's what I'm saying.
no, there. I don't think there would be another ten tails in Cherokee at this point, unless there is just another ten tails that pops up.
You know what they could do? You know, it's a good thing you brought up the idea of the tail beast, Nabara, because they could do a plot line where there's like, yeah, we tail beasts, we used to be the 10 tails, but we've kind of reconciled with humans. We kind of see Earth as our home. Let's work together with them to kind of get rid of this threat. Let's store like a portion of not become not make more Jinchuriki, but let's store a portion of our chakra in a
Mm.
device for that Amado makes, and we can do some kind of barren mode thing for each of the characters, or something creative like that. I don't know.
Or
I'm
or
throwing stuff out
or
there.
or since Himawari has the ten tails, she can possibly, since her infinity is higher than her predecessors, she could possibly do a like barium mode with no side effects.
Hmm, that is a good idea. But funny enough, call me crazy. I actually think Himawari's like genetics plus her greater affinity with this version of Kurama is
Mhm.
kind of already like a pseudo
Barren mode.
variant mode.
Oh,
Because based on
I
the
think
dialogue that she
I think that.
says, based on the dialogue that Kurama says, it seems like
Mhm.
they've kind of merged.
Mhm.
And in my head, I'm saying that kind of could be like the same effect as Baron mode, which would kind of explain why she had that great jump in power.
Right,
Because I've been saying Kurama alone shouldn't really make her that powerful. It
right,
couldn't. It couldn't be what Damon sends. That doesn't make sense. But if it's if she and Kurama are merged to the degree it's kind of producing similar effects like Baron mode, that plus her specific genetics makeup, it would explain why she is as strong as she is, or why she has such potential. So stuff like that makes sense. We don't just pop out new gravity Mangekyo Sharingan. Oh, I'm stronger than everybody now. We got some context of why.
Mm.
But
yeah, but at the same time, like, I hear what you're saying, but
yeah.
she's special in a way. Like when you said that, Damon didn't sense it. Maybe it was at that point in time where like Kurama manifested in her,
Yeah,
and
could
we
be
don't
it.
know the like time span that happened. So, like, I think it could have possibly be 3 years later. Don't get me wrong, but she could have possibly like Kurama could have possibly like manifested himself in a like what am I trying to say in a better manner, and then study Himawari, and then learning that infinity, because I don't think he would have just said it out the blue. Hey, we have a perfect infinity. Like I think that Damon just sensed the power that he wasn't recognized of, and possibly this Chrome would be stronger, but I don't think that's like the power that he was like really sensing.
Also, you think it's something beyond Kurama?
Not beyond Karama, but just Karama like manifesting in Himawari. He pretty much sensed a new power that he never seen before. And it was
Mm.
manifesting in Himawari. And he just like had a sudden burst of excitement, and he wanted to see what it is. And with their infinity, that would possibly like don't take my word out for gospel, but like increase her power level, and she just didn't know it
Mm. Yeah,
because
yeah. I mean, I would definitely say I think we're kind of saying the same thing, man.
mm,
Oh,
Yeah, because
just to move. Okay.
mhm.
No, I was about to piggyback off that. Since we have, I guess, Karma alive now, and all the respect, well, not all respect, I didn't necessarily bring this up before, but they essentially brought up the fact that Naruto is still alive. Do you see a possibility of sealing when Naruto comes back? Hypothetically, if he does come back, if he does get unsealed, do you see a possibility of us sealing half of the nine tails back into Naruto?
no,
Mm.
no, no, no. The reason
What's the
why I
problem?
say no is because like I remember what movie was it? I think it was Naruto the last or Boruto Next Generation, the movie. He Momoshiki said something to him like we share power and it's such a shame that you can't um inherit your power into your predecessors. So like he said that. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's I think that's a bit different. Karma isn't necessarily Naruto, whereas like Momoshiki wasn't necessarily wrong because if you do hypothetically take out all of Karma, then of course Naruto would then die, and he's not necessarily like Momoshiki where Boruto could then just absorb Naruto and just take all of his power. So Momoshiki wasn't necessarily wrong, but I think half of Karma, we kind of already seen that happen a little bit before. Now again, it was completely different means. We had I forgot what it's called, but then Minato did that whole sealing jutsu, and then Minato died. So it was completely different. But I think there could be a mechanism as to where you could potentially seal another half into Naruto if he does come back from being sealed.
I think it would be interesting, but to be honest, my opinion, I don't know. I think for me it's too early to say because one, it depends on where the the character arc goes with Himawari and Kurama at this point, and what it depends on, I guess, narrative of what plans Ikimoto and Kishimoto will have for Naruto if and when he comes back. So
Hmm.
because he could probably come back and it's like, oh, he's just in at HQ giving orders, and so it depends. It really depends
All
because
right.
especially if it's a case where I don't know, characters are going to continue getting stronger. Like when Naruto comes back, even if he gets another half of Kurama, like based on the train of thought or the perception persons have the power scaling now, right? What's
Mhm.
Naruto going to do? Because the funny part, if
Oh, let's
Naruto comes
start.
back, the funny part is that if Naruto comes back and he gets half a Kurama and he's competing with the characters of that time at that time, it's going to throw the whole power scale retroactively into whack. Unless
Well,
they say
wait a minute.
Naruto's somehow stronger.
Well, wait a minute. What if he trains with Jiraiya again?
Well, I mean, I do want him to meet Kashin Koji, so
Mm-hmm.
possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 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 okay.
I don't think that he would train with Koji as far as his like in half of the nine tails. I think he's like at one point in time he said that he felt like fighting with Kurama was cheating. I remember when he said that. But I don't think that he would take half of Kurama from um Himawari. I think that he would bestow his power to her.
And to be honest, I think Himawari and Karma might even come to the joint decision to put, if they could, if they have a mechanism, still to put
Um,
half back into Naruto, because I think Karma and Naruto still do have that relationship.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, and but just off fan service, I for sure do want to see a hypothetical Naruto and Kaji Koji training arc to potentially put Naruto back on the map. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, because they could do the whole, alternate future versions of Naruto. Like, oh, you did this with Sage Mode 5 years
Mhm.
from now. Well, that's
Yeah,
still granted if Kashin Koji survives till then, though. But
yeah, big question mark. I think he will. I think there's too much money to be made in the potential Kaji Koji Naruto episode. Too much money to
Yeah,
be made.
too much. They'll break them net for sure.
Yeah,
Plus, I
And,
definitely want to see like a Naruto and Boruto team up. No, I think that would be pretty epic too.
yeah,
All
yeah,
for
right.
a fact. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
yeah.
crazy. Just aura
Hey,
everywhere.
I got a question.
Mhm.
Sanjay, we haven't had
Yeah.
you in a while. Um, I'm thinking we haven't had you since chapter 19. How you feeling about the Boruto manga?
I'm feeling, to be honest, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, despite what have my concerns in terms of the power scaling and how characters are growing in strength, I still think we're at a good place because it feels dynamic in terms of who can contribute to pushing the story forward, right? I mean, we have what Boruto, Kawaki, Sarada, Himawari. There's still stuff with Amado in the background. It's kind of ambiguous what Jura is going to do next. I mean, there's still code in the background. There's still the political discourse that can be had, and I'm hoping that Kishimoto and Ikimoto dive into it. So I think we are at a good. I'm feeling really good about it, but I'm still kind of curious, borderline concerned in terms of what's the long term game plan outside of Code and the Shinju right now, because it's like, yeah, they're cool, but it feels like there should be something more. What's next beyond this, you know? So that's where I'm at.
I thought the Shinju arc would be over at this particular point. Like, we're 2 years in. We're 2 years in.
Crazy,
we're
bro.
still talking about the Shinju. Yeah, so I kind of agree with that. My thing is, I think eventually we will get past this. I'm afraid, anime-wise, like this might just be season 1. Like 25 chapters, 2 years. When the anime comes out, this might just be like a 6-month thing. Like I don't know. So I could see it like that. When do you think the Shinju arc will be over, Sanjay?
Oh man, that's a good question, man, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, right? Jura, they say they can't beat Jura at the moment, right? And Jura himself seems very nonchalant in terms of either making more Shinju or rescuing Matsuri's soul form bulb, or it just feels like he's chilling, really and truly. To be honest, I think I would give it. Shit, this is gonna be rough. I think, yeah, it really is rough, bro. It really is rough.
I was way off the first time, I guess. So you got it. You probably gonna be better than me.
I think I would give it maybe 12 more chapters, to be honest.
Another year.
Another year. Because I'm thinking about this last arc, this mission in the sand started at what, chapter 19?
Yeah, pretty much.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 6 chapters. So it can have like 4 to 6 chapters to cover like one mini arc or so. So two more arcs, and I think we should move. Even if the thing with me is that even if Jura is still going to be around like 12 chapters from now, like I think the stage should be set by then for the next big antagonist or curveball in the plots, really and truly.
This is good because I don't think we haven't had you on in a minute. Free Game just said, do you think there's a possibility that Jura becomes good? Becomes part of the Z Fighters, called that.
The Z Fighters.
The Z Fighters. This guy.
I mean, I didn't really have like money placed on Jura, but I did have money placed on like one of the Shinju. I mean, it could be Hidari too. Because due to their nature, like their story can literally go anywhere, fam, to be honest. Because if the more he learns, the more he sees, the more he gets to get compliments from Kawaki, apparently. Probably like he'll probably forget about his base instincts, maybe. So I can see it happening, but I don't think there's enough evidence to say yes just yet. But I could definitely see one of the Shinju like turning against the other based on how they continue to learn and grow and develop, and explore the nuances of quote unquote love going forward.
I like that. My thing is, it would basically, I agree with you. I think there's a heavy possibility, and if there was a character, you said you wouldn't necessarily put money on Jura. I would put money on Jura simply because he isn't based off of a human. He's just based off of 10 tails. Whereas, like, hypothetically, if it is Hidari, like, you'd have to just concede that Sasuke is never coming back.
True. I guess what I could say, if I could probably write it, and this could be a bit cringy maybe, but as the Ten Tails himself and as a character that seems to have that database of knowledge of stuff on Earth, and I would imagine about any history between himself and previous Otsutsuki in the past, Because I mean, we don't know how long Ten Tails live. As a Ten Tails, maybe he existed for quite a while. Maybe as he, grows to learn about love and the earth and everything, you could say, you know what? I don't bother feel like consuming earth. I think I've grown to like it here. But I think the thing that's going to happen if that happens is Drew is going to get taken out like after that by somebody else. Like I could see that happening if he turns.
Yeah. One of the things I keep getting drawn back to is like how different would the storyline be right now if Sasuke just absorbed the Ten Tails when he had the chance? When he went to that dimension, didn't see Jiraiya at first or Jigen at first, and just seen the Ten Tails, and he had the Rinnegan. He could have just became the Jinchuriki.
Ten Tails Sasuke. Well, at least he wouldn't be out of chakra anymore.
Factos.
Shit, man. But getting rid of the Ten Tails there by becoming the Jinchuriki,
and then making a beeline to fight Jigen with Naruto as the Jinchuriki.
Yeah, he would have taken. They would have taken out Jigen there, definitely. Because I mean, if by the end of the fight in the original story, like by the end of the fight, his body basically reached its limit. So I see what the Ten Tails boost. I do foresee them definitely killing Jigen there. But I mean, I guess he could technically take care of Code after that too.
The only thing is, what would they do with Ishiki? Time is still going to be the biggest weapon against Ishiki.
Yeah, you'd still have the Ishiki thing, but at least you wouldn't really have the issue of the Shinju anymore. So, I mean, I guess it could still play out the same way with Ishiki. Them Baron moding it and stalling for time. He loses his life. I guess. Even if Momoshiki stabs Sasuke's Rinnegan, he can just regenerate that, no issue at that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Code gets eventually taken out, to be honest, and it just depends on the next antagonist that would have showed up anyway. So to be honest.
Yeah, adult Sasuke's record is fairly perfect. I think that's the only criticism I got from my guy right now. He could have ended this whole entire thing if he was just absorbed it. Now, don't be wrong, he had a hell of a fight because I think this Ten Tails is probably stronger than the Ten Tails that Obito almost died too. They almost ripped him apart. So like, yeah, Sasuke had a fight on his hands to try to seal it, but still, he should have at least tried. Right? I thought that was a no-brainer.
He doesn't have that the ghost of the Uchiha mentality, dog. It's not that forward thinking.
Oh my days! Itachi would have done it,
bro. No, listen to me, bro. Listen, if Itachi was alive, I have a friend, I have a virgin that hates Itachi in the most comedic of ways. To be honest, like if Itachi was alive, bro, this whole Otsutsuki should be done already. To be honest. And I say that from a comedic standpoint. So power scales don't come at me.
Yeah, no, that's Itachi Glaze right there for sure. For sure. Oh my days.
It's crazy.
Another thing I want to ask, I haven't asked you this at all. Yeah. My stance, maybe I did because I've had this stance for a minute. My stance is the next Kage or Hokage should be Sarada. I think it was
Konohamaru?
So why are we even mentioning that? What are we doing here?
Bro, listen.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, please. Tell me you're trolling. That's the comedic thing with Itachi, right? Potato. Talk to me.
Fair enough. Yeah, Konohamaru doesn't really have the best track record for real still, though. Like, Konohamaru is a cut. You see, the issue is that like ever since the Boruto era, it just feels like to me, I don't know, Konohamaru feels like a generic Jonin character to me, dog. Like it doesn't feel like there's like an arc building up to him becoming quote unquote Hokage. So I'm almost tempted to agree with you that maybe Sarada should be maybe the next for real. But maybe they'll say she's too young, maybe.
Yeah. For a fact, it's just I don't know. I just can't see it.
That's the point, because there's no art building up to it. There's no context. Well, there's context, but there's no oomph. There's no push behind it. It's like, yeah, you see Konohamaru in the manga. Oh, he did that one cool thing, and then yeah, he's in the background. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the type of vibe. It's just indifference. So
my biggest point against Konohamaru, I genuinely believe that the board to writers dislike him and they're just trolling his character right now. They're just
yo,
trolling.
that Kawaki step on the face was
Yeah, like come
was
on, bro.
so
Like
funny,
that
bro.
was on purpose. That was on purpose. Him falling for the Shinji version of Moegi and not the actual Moegi. That's on purpose, right? Come on, let's stop this. They're trolling. They're trolling. Like they don't have any plans for that character at all, bro. They have
God,
no
it's
plan.
crazy.
Whereas Sarada, she's invulnerable to omnipotence. She essentially knows all the lore. Power-wise, I think at this particular point, she's elite. I mean, we just
Yeah,
talked about how
she's one of the heavy hitters.
Mhm.
She's one of the
And
heavy hitters.
yeah, and coming into this arc, I talked about it. I said, hey, we got Konohamaru, we got Sarada, and we have I forgot who else, and the Sand Ninjas. I thought whoever takes control of this arc or should be in the running for Kage. And of course, Konohamaru did absolutely nothing to let us believe that he took any sort of control of this arc. Sarada got the W. She beat a whole Shinju. Like, come on, like she retained the aura. In my personal opinion, I think
Definitely.
yeah, and the biggest knock against her is going to be experience. Hey, she's a young Kage. My thing is my favorite character, second, you could argue second favorite character of all time, Gara. He became a Kage at a similar age. Of course, was under completely different circumstances.
Yeah,
I think,
that's what I'm gonna say.
yeah, but I think the fact that she's invulnerable to omnipotence should be like super huge in regards to like her potentially becoming the next Kage. Hypothetically, if Shikamaru has any sort of say in like who the next Kage is going to be, there has to be someone invulnerable to omnipotence, and he has to know that.
Well, true, but the only thing I would say, oh, it looks like should probably check on free games. Like he just dropped off, man.
Yeah, I might text chat right quick. Give me a second.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sometimes he just be lagging out the chat.
Yeah, no pressure, man.
Let me check the stream right quick. Wait a second. Cloud Ninja Podcast. Oh, yeah, we still live. Oh yeah, we still live. It's just us two. Yeah, we still live.
Yeah. I just see that he dropped off. So I'm just kind of curious. Like.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, I think the whole situation with omnipotence needs to be sorted out first, because I think if I were to go on a limb and say, like, over the last 3 years, Sarada seems to be obviously one of Boruto's biggest fans. So I think when it comes on to the people and probably the persons in governments, they probably wouldn't put her as Hokage, right? Well, obviously not right now, but you get the point. But yeah, this whole thing with omnipotence would need to be sorted out first before she could potentially become Hokage, because in the eyes of the people, like right now, I don't think she would have the biggest vote. Or if you're even limiting it to the if you're even limited it to the, like, for example, the council of persons that usually show up, like say, oh, Kakashi should be Hokage, I can't nominate him. They're probably going to also say, like, oh, Sasuke left the village with the traitor, so you know that kind of needs to be sorted out too.
My thing, and this, since we're going to the maybe Sarada can become Hokage, I thought about this like to the upteenth degree.
Yeah.
My idea is, and this could be complete tinfoil hat theory, but my idea has always been that eventually Ada is going to switch up on Kawaki for Boruto, and I thought that the foundation for that was laid super early on in Boruto manga, where Delta was like, hey, as soon as Ada switches on you, I'm gonna pretty much wring your neck, Kawaki, stuff like that. And of course, Ada was saying, hey, Boruto looks cool and everything. Once he talked to Mitsuki, and she pretty much seen that through the Senringan. Hypothetically, if that happens, Ada actually does gravitate towards Boruto. I think Boruto could make her utilize another omnipotence and make Sarada actually beloved by the Hidden Leaf Village in times of like emergency. Like hypothetically, if you know Shikamaru is about to be fired, and there's going to be a Kage pick that's going to be susceptible to all kinds of omnipotence. And let's be honest, it's Boruto. We expect there's going to be more omnipotence that's going to be happening in the future. If Boruto understands that, I think he would be like compelled to utilize Ada's omnipotence to make Sarada be loved by the Hidden Leaf Village, and then create her, install her as Kage.
I get what you're saying, but I think based on to a degree, I think that would kind of go against Boruto's character arc from the Momoshiki arc. The reason being is that based on his experiences in that arc and the memories he got from Naruto and all these learned about Naruto and the position of Hokage, and in kind of finding out that Sarada wants to be like that, I don't think he'd want her to do it the cheap way. Like I can see omnipotence being used again to kind of clear up the Kawaki Boruto misunderstanding, and then Sarada kind of works towards it. But I don't think if Boruto had a choice that he would just put Sarada using a cheat code basically to put her in a position to be just loved instantly. I don't think Sarada would like that, and I think Boruto wouldn't really want that for Sarada.
I think it could happen in specific situations. Like hypothetically, if Code does, let's say, get omnipotence by some degree, and he understands that, hey, the next Kage is likely going to be heavily influenced by Code, I think would then like compel him to like utilize omnipotence in that way, like for the greater good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if it's a case where I guess if it's like a case where they have like absolutely no choice or autonomy in the situation, it's like, is that this or that? Yeah, maybe I could see, but I just don't like the idea of like just installing Sarada in a position via omnipotence. Like, oh, everybody loves her.
I love to see something like that. I get the idea. Boruto is not necessarily that greater good villainous type of good character, but I still think that would be like an incredible storyline. But overall, I do think Sarada should be the number one pick. And here's the crazy thing: if I do have a number 2 pick, if some people think this is crazy than Sarada, I think it should be Ada.
Ada as Hokage, yo, whoa,
for sure.
That sounds wild to me, bro. Mm-hmm. All right, let me hear some context, some reasoning. Let me hear what you're saying.
She's involved in omnipotence. We understand this. Not only that, I think this is going to be kind of difficult to understand, but I don't think she has any sort of ulterior motives. I think she's one of the more altruistic, I don't even know if that's the correct word, but she's the more noble characters that we have gotten from a villainous perspective. Like a pickle.
Well, I guess it's relative. I think she's just indifferent to and just chilling, bro, to be honest.
And also the fact that she's working alongside Kashin Koji to bring about like the good of the Hidden Leaf Village, I think that right there heavily like influenced like or brought up her clout for me. And I thought that was like super big. Like she's actually helping the Hidden Leaf Village. Her actual true motives is to help the Hidden Leaf Village, and she's working alongside one of her fellow synthetic human beings who, again, she has a lot of respect for. And we understand for a fact, Kashin Koji is 100% about helping the Hidden Leaf Village. So I think that right there kind of makes me believe like she could be a good Kage in this particular circumstance. Don't get me wrong. In this particular circumstance, I kind of compare it to older characters. A lot of people do like to say, "Hey, Kashin Koji, not Kakashi, Kakashi was like stronger after he lost his Sharingans." I do kind of believe that because a lot of the statements that did come out, even though we still didn't see it, but I do kind of believe that. The point being is that specific time, you didn't necessarily need an overpowered Kage. I think Kakashi was the best choice for that specific time. Ada, in my personal opinion, would be the best choice for this specific time. Yeah, I completely understand other people thinking I'm crazy for that idea.
It does sound crazy, bro. It does sound crazy. Ada's Hokage. I just can't picture. I get what you're saying, but at first I just can't see it, bro. To be honest, can't see it.
I think I'm the only thing that I could be wrong, and this. I'm fully aware of this. I could be wrong in anticipating that omnipotence is going to play that big of a role in the future of Boruto. One of the things that really stuck with me is Momoshiki saying, he pretty much questioned, how much times do you think the reality of humans of Earth pretty much changed because of omnipotence? I think to this point, literally no one knows. It could be 10 times omnipotence was used since Boruto started, and no one really knows. And I think eventually that's going to be a much bigger storyline once Momoshiki does get reintroduced. Because Momoshiki probably knows.
That is true. I mean, to be honest, like when we first learned that, I actually did a video on it, but I kind of connected it like to the Uzumaki clan. But yeah, I that definitely needs to be like explored more going forward as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, and I guess my last real this is the most realistic choice, but people will still have a problem with this, and I completely understand too. I have a problem with this. Third choice is Kawaki, the son of the seventh.
All right,
What's the
that actually
problem?
doesn't sound. Yeah, that's. I think that sounds more reasonable as crazy
Mm-hmm.
as it is all the same, but it sounds more reasonable than Ada to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could see Kawaki doing so, like stepping up, but eventually just this Hokage thing is not my thing. I could see like happening like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it could work. It
Mm.
could work.
So what are your opinions? Well, first things first, do you think Shikamaru will be forced to step down? The reason why I do believe so is because like the elders were essentially pressing him about letting Boruto go. But do you think he will? And if he is, who do you think would be the next?
To be honest, I don't see Shikamaru getting put down because, especially with these recent developments, I think he'll have enough. He'll have enough ammo to stall his way out until Naruto potentially returns, unless he gets killed. um, because I think he has enough ammo to say, "Hey, like we have bigger threats to kind of consider, like enemy of my enemy type of situation."
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't really see him getting put down from a political standpoint. Unless big if he does, like a million times that I've said before, it might be a good
Please
area
don't
to
say Konohamaru.
reintroduce. Oh no, I was gonna say probably reintroduce some legacy characters like, hey, yo, call Kakashi from his vacation on the Moon Palace or something, like, let's bring
Mm-hmm.
somebody in. So it would be a good opportunity to kind of bring back some legacy characters, because I definitely, even though Kakashi is quote unquote retired, he's still not as old as say Hiruzen in part one Naruto, so he's
Yeah.
still of age that can take up the role. But if in true Boruto manga fashion, I'm not really expecting legacy characters to show up. So um
Well, there was a statement saying that they wanted Kakashi to be more involved in Boruto.
mhm.
It still hasn't happened yet. It still hasn't happened.
what was that from, like the manga perspective, or was that from like were they talking about the anime, or
I'm
I
not
need
even
to
sure that. Yeah, I'm not sure. That was years ago. Like when the anime was still going on. Like that was a quote, but so that was years ago. I have no idea.
but I mean, outside of, I mean, it sounds rough this based on what we were saying earlier, but to be honest, I think they might just drop Konohamaru in there, to be honest.
Stop
I,
it.
I know it sounds crazy, bro. Based on, I
This
mean, I
is
have my reasons.
insanity. This is
I have my
insanity.
reason to say, like, yo, it doesn't make sense to Konohamaru based on how they've handled this character, sure. But who knows? Maybe they could say, like, oh, he becomes Hokage and then we just start doing shit with his character. Who knows? But I mean,
Boy,
isn't he Shikamaru's advisor at this point? No?
Yeah.
boy, no one had discussions about Tsunade's advisor. Oh, I forgot her name.
Oh
No one
yeah,
could say.
Shizune. Yeah,
No
right,
one
right,
had
right,
no one had discussions about her, bro. No one.
right. Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah, we got it. I get I get the lore of Konohamaru. He's been saying from day one he wants to become the Hokage. He was Naruto's rival. Of course, he took down the pain at first, but in Boruto, he just hasn't had those moments to like justify it. Like,
It hasn't
and
been him.
yeah, and I'm to be honest, I've been like super. upset about it. I thought Konohama was supposed to be like the first character of the next generation. I thought he was going to be like an Itachi type of figure in Boruto. Remember the first episode when Boruto attacked him, essentially put him down without moving like any muscles or anything like that. Once he crashed the train, like stuff like that. I thought he was so elite in first summoning jutsu episodes. Like I thought he'd have like a Sage mode as well. Just none of that manifested.
Nah. That's at all, fam. That's at all. So yeah. From that perspective, yeah, I can get it, man. Trust me, I 120% get it. Why it would be hard to put Konohamaru in there, but I just think the state of things, like it can't be Sarada right now, can't be Mitsuki. It'd be crazy to put Amado there, but I know that.
No.
But it's hard to put anybody else, in my opinion, right now.
The reason, to be honest, I'd like Kakashi. The reason why I say I like Kakashi is because his smarts were like heavily compared to Shikamaru, and what we learned from Omnipotence is that the smarter you are, let's say, the more wits you have, the more you're going to be resistant to Omnipotence. That's a tough word for me. Yeah, more resistant to Omnipotence. And Shikamaru, we see it already, where it's like he's resisting Omnipotence and he doesn't really know why he's resisting it. I think Kakashi would be able to do that. There's a character like Konohamaru, like he fell on his face the first time he seen Ada. It's like he has zero resistance to Omnipotence.
True. But it just goes back to the issue, though, dog, is that like the Boruto manga, like it just seems like it just doesn't have room for the legacy characters. Because I mean, we're what, between part 1 and part 2, we're 104 chapters in, and it's like
barely
nothing from nobody. There's just one mention of Tsunade that went nowhere.
And that kind of the same thing that goes for Sakura as well, because I think Sakura is like a popular pick for the next Kage as well.
Well, possibly as well.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I mean, we're just basing it on characters that are showing up. Yeah, Sakura could be our next option as well. I know persons would meme the hell out of that.
I wouldn't mind seeing Sakura nowadays, man, especially with her Byakuya seal. Byakuya again.
Byakuya seal.
Yeah, there it is. I'm thinking the Byakuya gang. Yeah, the Byakuya seal. Yeah, with that, I think that could be interesting. Like that could be interesting.
I wouldn't mind, because to be honest, like Boruto era Sakura, I actually like, even though there still could be more done with her, but I wouldn't mind seeing more Sakura either, man, because I have to be like, what's the phrase? Suspension of disbelief, whatever it is.
Suspicious?
Like, no, not suspicious, but it's like what, suspension of belief, or I think that's the phrase they say. Basically, like turn off your brain, basically, because it makes no sense to me. Like you have all these worldwide situations happening, and the legacy characters aren't there, and I mean, I would figure from the anime's perspective, when it gets to this point, they'll include them. Sure, fine, but from a manga perspective, it makes no sense. And listen, if someone's gonna come to me and say, "Oh, like the legacy characters aren't strong enough," listen, if Sarada can get stronger, go from, I don't know, start a Shippuden Naruto level to beyond 10 Tails Madara in 3 years, quote unquote, I don't see why the legacy characters can't do the same, quote unquote. So
True.
Yeah.
On top of that, and this was like an idea I had like pre-time scale. I thought most of the side characters, and especially some of the legacy characters that we want to see brought into the new generation, would be altered by scientific technology. That just didn't happen.
Hey, listen,
we have like go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I threw out the idea in terms of the chakra fusion device, or I like the idea of even when I saw the high compression Rasengan in the anime, I'm like, oh yo, shit, there's this overarching theme about science and all of that and compression and whatever. Maybe they can start compressing chakra, or creative scientific stuff. Basically,
the thing about Naruto right now, the thing about the Hidden Leaf Village right now, the main thing in the series of Naruto is the advancements of scientific technology. I think that's one of the main reasons why the cloud right now, I believe, is probably number two among villages. But the Hidden Leaf Villages has three of the best scientists on the planet. Like in the ninja world, they have Katasuke, they have Amato, and they have Orochimaru. There is no
True.
reason they aren't creating like some abysmally overpowered technology right now to like
Yeah, it
make
makes no
everybody
sense, bro.
overpowered.
It
They
makes no
should.
sense. Oh, by the way, free game. Yeah, someone Jordan in the chat was saying just correct the title of the stream. You have for Boruto and Kawaki, you have P at the end of Boruto instead of O, so you can just edit that.
Yeah, facts. Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Respect. Shout out to Jordan there.
I ain't even peep it. Yeah, my bad.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you have a point, man. Because like, unless and I know this is going to go basically nowhere. It's as good as me trying to predict the Jogan. It would be interesting if, like, once they get back to the village, maybe Orochimaru, maybe Katasuke, maybe Amada, maybe they get more involved. I don't know, but I highly doubt it. Because you would think they would have introduced Orochimaru by now, but I guess
yeah.
once Mitsuki has an arc, they'll probably do that.
I thought they had mentioned it once Mitsuki fought against Boruto. One of the biggest things with Mitsuki is that he couldn't use his Sage Mode in front of other people because of some sort of shut off thing. And they just like did away with that storyline and never really explained it. I thought that would have been like a perfect time to introduce Orochimaru in the manga.
Yeah, still nothing, bro. Still nothing.
Yeah, the old generation characters, as you said. Yeah, old generation.
It doesn't make sense. They're on vacation, bro. Like I always make jokes that like they see what's happening in Konoha. They're like, Konoha's getting attacked again. Must be Tuesday. And they just decide to move out, bro, because it makes no sense. Like I just keep joking about it.
And I want to see what Juro would do against the Hakai that Orochimaru got. I want to see that.
Juro versus Orochimaru?
I want to see that. Well, what's called? I did want to get y'all opinions about an idea that I'm starting to have. It once Boruto and Kawaki fights, we understand that Boruto utilized the Karma Seal. I think it's possible that Boruto at that particular point still never really ever uses the Karma Seal in battle, and that might be the first time he ever really does it.
It could be. I would probably go on to predict maybe he might have used it once or twice before that flash forward with Kawaki. But anyway, yeah, what are you gonna say?
The reason why I say I kind of went back and seen the first scene and compared the same thing in the manga as well. The only reason why Boruto uses or activates his Karma Seal is because Kawaki activated it first. We understand and his Karma Seal resonates.
Yeah.
And that lets me believe like it wasn't necessarily Boruto's idea or decision to activate the Karma Seal. It's just like a necessity in fighting against Kawaki. So like that makes me believe that honestly that might be the first time that we see Momoshiki in TBV.
Momoshiki there. It could be, but to be honest, I think Momoshiki is going to show up before. To be honest, I actually think. I feel like they're kind of drip feeding us arc by arc, like because the initial Boruto come back to the village, we see nothing. When Juro and company, come, it kind of starts, resonating. Of course, it resonated in Kawaki's fight with Juro as well. So I think slowly but surely we're getting there to see Momoshiki, to be honest.
I hope so.
I hope so too, man, because he's definitely, well, between Momoshiki and Ko, those two are definitely the wild card in the story right now, I'd say.
So when do you think the battle would happen? We're at chapter 25 now, assuming probably got like 80 more chapters.
At this point.
Yeah.
Yo, stuff like this is kind of hard to predict, dog, because especially when like you have a flash forward like that, and then it's like you're writing the story and it's like, yo, probably he planned for it to happen at chapter 17. It's like, no, based on how he's written the story, it's like I gotta push it back to chapter 110. So it's kind of hard to predict. So but I mean, the village destroyed. Kawaki needs to go through like some kind of character arc or some revelation or some new information needs to come to Kawaki as well before it happens, because if they maintain the same dialogue from the flash forward, say they don't change anything, it seems like Kawaki no longer wants to kill Boruto, but he wants to seal him away instead. So something has have to happen for him to go from wanting to kill Boruto to wanting to seemingly protect Boruto by sealing him. So I don't know, man. All of that and then balancing it with the development and arcs of other characters. I don't know, maybe chapter 50. 25 more chapters.
Yeah, probably. But that's interesting. You brought up a good point. I never really thought of the fact that Kawaki went from wanting to kill Boruto to wanting to seal Boruto now.
Yeah. Like I was looking back at the dialogue one time last year. I'm like, no, I should do a video on this. So yeah, that it's an interesting little subtle tidbit to pick up because then you say like, oh, I want to send you the way of the seven. So like if you weren't to be extra literal like the way of the seven, that kind of seal the seven just to protect him. So I'm deducing that maybe he just wants to protect Boruto. No, so what changed?
Mm-hmm. It could be, yeah, for sure. So I definitely want to see that storyline. He just feels like Boruto is going to be valuable to him in the future.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to eventually give up on the idea of killing all Otsutsu members? Well, outside of Boruto, because we understand his motives now.
I mean, possibly no, because if he can change his mind on Boruto, I don't see why. But it depends on the lore that we get on the Otsutsuki going forward, really and truly. If there's going to be like nuance in the Otsutsuki, if they're going to make like some members like sympathetic, or are they all just scum? It depends on if they go that route. It really and truly depends.
The Otsutsuki god could be sympathetic. I thought he could be like Hagoromo 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. And speaking of Hagoromo, you would think we'd see a reappearance of Hagoromo at some point. You'd think so, right?
I don't know. Would we?
I mean, he should be watching from the afterlife or limbo or wherever he is. I mean, he's been watching for generations with Indra and Ashura fighting. So
true. But do you anticipate more reincarnations?
Nah, to be honest, I don't. I think this cycle probably ends with Naruto and Sasuke. So no, I don't really foresee any more reincarnations at this point. But what I could probably see happening, and this is a big stretch, especially since we're dealing with stuff like Shibai, which is extreme long term. We're dealing with like different dimensions now, etc. I wouldn't mind them visiting the Pure Land, like just revisiting the afterlife on some Dragon Ball type. If since we're being inspired by Dragon Ball so much, why not? Let's do an afterlife thing. I'm not saying revive anybody. Let's not get it twisted, but but it would be interesting to see Sarada meet like Itachi in the afterlife or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. I wouldn't mind that for a fact. What's cool? I did have more questions. I'll get to my notes real quick. Oh, big one. So at this particular point, who do you think is stronger, Kawaki or Naruto?
I would definitely say Kawaki. Yeah.
Ooh, you would say Kawaki.
Kawaki, yeah, I would say so.
I like that. So this is like Vegeta after he exited Time Chamber.
Basically, bro. Yeah. Basically, like, don't get me wrong. I still think Naruto, at least in my head, should be like a big powerhouse. But the way I'm interpreting Karma and Amaro's enhancements to Kawaki, I think Kawaki should logically be stronger than Naruto.
I wouldn't be crazy. Well, Naruto, yeah, but Boruto?
Oh, Boruto, no.
Oh, did I say Naruto at first?
Yeah, yes, you said Naruto.
Oh, my bad. I'm fried. I'm at Boruto.
No pressure. I think I would still say Boruto. I don't think I'm seeing, like, all things considered, like, Are we talking about the fact that Boruto wouldn't be able to use karma versus Kawaki, who's using karma? Or if I were to equalize and say, oh, Boruto can use karma?
I guess for the sake of discussion right now, without karma, because I don't think Boruto and Kawaki right now would fight against each other. It's more of like they're scaling against others.
I think, to be honest, even though Kawaki did quote unquote decent against Jura, I didn't feel more impressed with Kawaki's performance against Jura versus Boruto. I thought they were almost equally as impressive in terms of how they performed. They're both of their movesets. It's kind of tricky to deal with. Kawaki with the Sukuna Ikona and Daikokuten, and Boruto with the Flying Thunder God and everything. But I'm almost tempted to say Boruto. No, I'm not even tempted. I would say Boruto still has it. Reason being, the way I'm thinking about it, Doug, is that even though he's not tapping into karma, but those 3 years of training, 2 years of training with Sasuke and that extra year of training with Kashin Koji, and the fact that he's 100% Otsutsuki now, the gains that he should have made right now should offset the power boost that Kawaki would have from having Ishiki cells or DNA, whatever. Because of course, if I were to go back to my hyper literal karma math, right? If I were to put, say, Momoshiki at 50, fuse Momoshiki at 50, I'd probably put Ishiki at 200, right? But it's not like, well, as far as we know, it's not like Kawaki trains or he doesn't train a lot versus Boruto, who would have trained over the 3 years with Sasuke and Kashin Koji, getting stuff about his from alternate versions of himself. I think with his Otsutsuki potential, yeah, he would have offset that 150 point difference and more, really and truly. Plus, I could be wrong, because Amado himself made a point of it that he would have switched Kawaki's defense beyond the limits to his offense beyond the limits. The impression I got is not, he doesn't simultaneously have defense and offense up. So I'm still waiting on the nuance of that.
Yeah,
to hear him say, yeah, because I wouldn't be surprised if he says next chapter, like, oh, it's a good thing the fight ended there. My stamina was actually running low, something like that. So I'm tempted to say, yeah, Boruto should still have it, but it would be still high difficulty, though.
Yeah, I think that's where the conversation should start, where we need to figure out the specifics about the limits being removed. But on top of that, I kind of, when we look at the Jura battle, I kind of thought the same. To be honest, I was more impressed with Boruto simply because he fought against a more full-power Jura, whereas Kawaki came in with one Rinnegan down Jura obviously stamina a little bit more depleted, and Kawaki just had the upper hand. Of course, he had the sneak attack at first, so things like that. So even though Kawaki put in more work, I'd still give the upper hand at this particular point to Boruto.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point, man.
Yeah, tough for me because I'm a Kawaki stan. You know how that goes.
No, I mean the Kawaki stocks were in the mud for the longest while now, to be honest.
Yeah, we back. We back.
His socks is rising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen. I told you guys in the chat, and I told Free Game. I said, right now it's Boruto's time. Eventually, when Kawaki gets his limits removed, then it was pretty much already given to us. The keys was given to us by Boruto already. Once Kawaki gets his limits removed, that's when he's really going to activate. The only thing now is, I believe Kawaki is going to figure out what Kashin Koji did with Boruto, and eventually he's going to seek out Kashin Koji. I think that's the next step for Kawaki. So, like, if hypothetically does have that weakness of his defense, I think Kashin Koji could correct it.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, it could be a case where he looks into the alternate, possible future where Amado found a way to, balance things in terms of his stats. Could be a thing like that.
Could.
Yeah.
I think he could also supplement it with some sort of jutsu. Like, I think jutsus that he could probably learn in the future could, like, help his defenses. I know Gar is
Um,
famous for his sand. It might not necessarily be sand, but something along the lines of like a defensive jutsu.
I
Hmm.
I'm going with I'm going Sanjay on this one. I think that Kashin Koji will be able to see in the future and see what he did to tinker with Kawaki. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I wouldn't necessarily mind that. I wouldn't necessarily mind that. The only
The
thing I
reason why,
would, well,
no, I was gonna say the reason why I would kind of preferably go with that, apart from it just being my take, outside of that, is just that I just think even though Kawaki had his a few lessons from Naruto in terms of ninjutsu and learning fireball jutsu, climb trees, chakra control, etc. I think going into the end of part one, his mindset regarding the shinobi way of life is like it's not it. So I actually don't see Kawaki like necessarily learning more jutsus like that, or at least learning jutsus in a conventional shinobi way. I
mhm.
mhm.
think where his character path or arc or the narrative with him is like he'll kind of reject the shinobi's path to power, because after all, he says shinobi are just persons who are fated to die essentially. So I don't think he'll do that. Or I mean, he could, you know they could paint him as a hypocrite and make him still do that, still though. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was just about to touch on that. I think outside of the possibility of him training with Kashin Koji, what he could do is he could do what Code essentially was supposed to do: go to other dimensions, gain chakra fruits, and then potentially just upgrade himself like that, like
Hmm.
become like the actual Otsuki god, or a mini path towards being an Otsuki god, where he wouldn't necessarily completely do it, but he'd be significantly stronger after he'd consumed multiple chakra fruits. I think that could upgrade him. And I think that could like go along with his mission as well. Like hypothetically, if he's actually going out and hunting Otsuki members, he's likely to find some chakra fruits along the way.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
He's fighting a fighter Osushi, so he's the one to get Molly Wop.
Uh, it- would you consider like Kawaki right now would be upper echelon Otsuki? Like he's strong. He's stronger than base Momoshiki, stronger than Kinshiki, stronger than Kage. In my personal opinion, I know that could be sticky. Stronger than Hagoromo. Again, that could be sticky. I
Sticky.
believe.
Yeah.
But most of the Otsuki members that we've seen be introduced, like I think he's stronger than. You could even I won't say for sure, but you could make an argument against Ishiki, and Ishiki was elite.
I mean,
He
there
has
is
the
the argument that a lot of these
qualification.
characters right now are just in between Jigen, but still weaker than Baryon and Ishiki. A lot of people kind of feel
Mhm.
that, but hmm.
But overall, I don't think he'd even need to be Ishiki. I think Jigen could have done that, like went around and started assassinating a bunch of Otsuki members. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Jigen
yeah,
could
yeah,
easily done that.
definitely.
Yeah, he would have cracked though. He had Naruto and Sasuke on his deathbed. So
Yeah, but even Naruto and Sasuke said he'd be able to take out Kage level threats by himself. So
mm,
it's like, and now you add Naruto, and who's supposed to be at that particular time stronger than Sasuke, and Jigen took out both.
yeah.
And Kawaki now is like the actual legitimate pure body, or not pure body, but strong body, where he can actually take that beating. And if he
You,
does need to escape, he could just automatically go into that dimension where time doesn't flow.
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
think he's surfboarding against like Kawaki? I mean Sasuke.
Say again?
You think he's surfboarding people like Sasuke, like like Kawaki is doing that same thing. Like he's just demolishing people.
Right now, yeah, I gotta say, yeah. After what he just did to Jura, yeah, yeah.
Bro, he got
All due
on
respect to
hard.
Sasuke. I asked Sanjay this question earlier by mistake, but he believes he's stronger than Naruto at this point. So Yeah, he could pretty much do that. Yeah, he could easily cook up. So if he hypothetically does decide to go out on the mission he stated that he wanted to do since before the time skip, and he does defeat multiple Otsuka members, not only do I think he could potentially like steal some of their powers, like let's be honest, put some of the renegades in his back pocket, but also it's a good chance he comes across some chakra fruits and he could just deblock them. Like, he could just steal them. I think that's 100% possible.
It's crazy.
The only thing, the interesting fact, not to go against what you just said,
Mm.
more like just an interesting
Talk to
thing I noticed, right?
me. Mm.
Like in the anime, they kind of paint it as, Momoshiki has gone around, he's ate so many chakra fruits and all of that. But with so many chakra fruits, I'm questioning like, dog, is it that the quality of chakra fruits on other planets are just trash? Because how do you eat like a million well, exaggeration of course, but a million chakra fruits and you still lose to Naruto and Sasuke?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first things first. Momoshiki did talk about the chakra fruits being trash, but also I think Momoshiki was different where he didn't necessarily. I think he had the ability to not have to go through the whole entire process, and that kind of led to like weaker chakra fruits slash pills.
Yeah.
What he did to like Naruto plus the Eight Tails, he essentially absorbed their chakra into like tiny pills. I think he probably done that instead of going through the whole process of playing god trees and stuff like that. Even though we did see Kinshiki in that one episode come back, so he likely did plant a god tree on that particular dimension. But I think because he probably did the function of creating pills and the mini chakra fruits, I think it
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily like he actually did get full on chakra fruits like Kage got from planet Earth. But also, I think the base of Momoshiki would be significantly weaker than like the base of a Kawaki. Whereas if hypothetically Kawaki would eat a chakra fruit, I think the multiplier for Kawaki would be a lot more than the multiplier for Momoshiki.
Fair point. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Why?
Because Kawaki is just that much stronger. It's
Like
like when
Momoshiki
yeah. At this point, yeah.
base Kawaki or Karma.
Even base. Well, I don't even know what is base Kawaki. Does base Kawaki still have the? We don't have the dojutsu name, but does base Kawaki have the dojutsu?
Karma.
Does he have
We talking about
Kokusen?
TBV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like current Kawaki without the limiters, yeah, he's washing Momoshiki.
Mm-mm.
You see what I'm saying? It's like when Obito got turned to a 10,000 Jinchuriki and then Madara got turned to a 10,000 Jinchuriki. It was a completely different story.
No,
I mean, to be fair, Madara had more of the Nine Tails in his version.
Yeah, true. Good point.
So I got a question for you guys. Who's going to be on the next chapter of the? Who's going to be on the next cover chapter?
Who was on the last two?
The last one I think it was. Well, let me check. Yeah, I was about to say some BS. Let me just check
about the trick as well. Oh yeah, we had Kawaki on the last one, Jura the one before that, and then Boruto on the one before that.
I could see. I could see Moegi.
Yeah, to be honest, probably considering she'll be brought back.
Wasn't Sarda too?
So, no, what do you mean? It was Sarda brought back?
No, on the cover.
I think she might have been on 20 or 21. I think.
Yeah. But even to be honest, I could see them doubling up on like the main characters. Like another Kawaki cover title wouldn't, another Kawaki cover wouldn't be crazy. Another Sarda cover wouldn't be crazy. Another Boruto cover wouldn't be crazy. But I think at this particular point for the storyline, it probably should be Moegi. I hope they unsealed. I hope they do the same thing with Shinki in the next chapter as well too. And
hopefully, but probably might not be Moegi. We actually had Moegi on the chapter 19 cover.
Oh, yeah, damn. Yeah,
so
Himawari,
probably Himawari and the Inoshikacho, maybe could be.
I wouldn't mind Kajin Koji because we talked about how Kajin Koji got to fill us in. I think that might be the biggest part of the next chapter.
Yeah, true.
I want to show it. Hold on. Hold on real quick. Let me do this. I want to show y'all something funny. Hold on real quick. Naruto explain as a clown. Man, this man tweets so much.
You scroll through a timeline. Okay. Well, why am I not free and looking for that? We could probably cook up a bit. So the next big battle, I think it's pretty much going to be Bug versus Damon and Ada. Who do you
Yeah, no,
think comes
I
out on
agree.
top? Yeah, who do you think comes out on top?
Man, shit. That's a good question. Um, who was I talking to about this before? I swear I had this conversation before, but the interesting thing with Mushimi, right? Yeah,
Mamushi.
is
Yeah.
that since he's based on Bug, he knows the weakness of Damon's reflection jutsu. Um, but at the same time, Damon is so still so much more than just his reflection jutsu. Um, hmm.
Yeah, unlimited code couldn't even touch him taijutsu wise.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. So it doesn't even seem like he was even really trying. But I could see there was a statement that Amado made about Damon's pose when he was explaining it to Shikamaru and Boruto and company in part one. They were saying like the person that's touched. Of course, Damon has to make contact with somebody for the reflection to work. But didn't he say something along the lines of the ability would transfer to the person as well, or something like that's the person that he's touching?
I'm not even sure if that was stated. I just
I'll
know
have
he had to be touching someone for it to happen.
Yeah.
It might be the case though, because the idea would be to protect Ada, and if he's touching Ada, then if Ada gets powers as well, that would just be protecting Ada that way.
Yeah, but I could see like some kind of strategic sneak attack or caught off guard type of situation where he runs some wood style routes through the ground and then it actually makes contact with Damon. It counts as technically Mushimi being in contact with Damon, and then the reflection powers kind of transfer to Mushimi and it somehow reflects back on Damon or something like that. Let me see if I can find the chapter. I just want to be sure I'm not talking nonsense.
I think we looked at it earlier too. I forgot the actual name of it.
I think is something of
It was
the gods. I think it's like chapter 75. I think.
I think. Let me check. Read. Oh, what sites do you go to look up?
Man, I just I know because it can't really view the manga plus anymore, right? I just usually just Google search it and just work with whatever result. To be honest,
I got a link, but the pop-ups are devious. I wouldn't even recommend it.
Yeah.
Yo, so it's one link.
Is that?
It's one leak.
You said there's one link or leak?
One leak.
Yeah, it's just in terms of the preview for the upcoming chapter.
Yeah.
So you can probably expect the next one maybe on Saturday or somewhere unlikely.
Okay, it should be. Yeah. I was about to. Yeah, so you pretty much said it's Saturday.
Yeah. No, but what I was going to say is that all right. So I'm on chapter 75, and here we have Amado saying, as for her brother Damon, he reflects all attacks. Any action that would inflict harm on him. Yeah. And though it's necessary for his hand to be touching another person, his ability will also transfer to the person currently touching him. So, with that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a case where Mushimi is on the losing end, but since the the Shinju seem to be connected to the earth, or they can probably run wood style here and there. It could be a situation that he's connected to Daemon and he can, temporarily get the reflection ability. And of course, as I said, since he's based on Bug, he knows about the quote unquote weaknesses of the reflection ability. So,
Mm.
mm,
Well, one of
Well,
the things that my guy Free Game brought up,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead,
it,
go ahead, go ahead.
he essentially was talking about how Mamushi kind of like, I won't say canceled, but he kind of hacked Ada's ability. Do you think there's a
that too.
possibility he could like do the same thing to Damon?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, we've seen something, well, similar but not similar in recent times, like with Jura just kind of canceling the effects of Uzuhiko. Like, it seems like some of these Shinju have some counter hacks, if I could phrase it like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if Mushimi can do something to, counter
But
it.
it's also said that they don't have like full controls of their powers, especially Ada.
Yeah,
So
that's
she may,
Sure.
But
So- but
back to the Bug
wait.
situation though,
Mhm.
like he knows all his counterattacks, and shout out to Black Uchiha. He's out of town right now, so that's why we had to fill in. And don't count yourself as a fill in, Black. Sanjay, you always
no pressure, man. No pressure.
yeah. But what was I saying?
No, actually, I want Sanjay and Black with you on the same pod. This is more
Yeah,
impactful discussion when we talk about Sarda.
facts. We're gonna have to do this again. But oh yeah, so Mamushi or Bug knew his his weaknesses. So but the my gripe with that is like Hadari didn't know that like he needed Sharingan to be able to do the Chidori. He was doing
That
it incomplete. So like they don't know
hmm.
everything, but I mean we can see what happens.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll just have to see what happens.
yeah, so yeah, that's kind of true. I do want to know specifically what Bug did retain. The reason why I do believe he kind of knows something is because of what we already seen with Ada. Like, we never really seen anybody do that with Ada's ability. So like, Bug has to have some sort of intelligence, even though it might not necessarily be like all the way. Another thing as well with Bug, and this is gonna be interesting. I believe with all the Shinju, the longer they're in the series, the smarter they're going to get. Now we haven't necessarily seen Bug pick up a book or anything like, or Mamushi pick up a book or anything like that, like how we've seen Hidari with Jura. But hypothetically, if he did like learn more about Ada and Damon, I think that could be interesting as well. Like they are his targets after all. After all, he's likely trying to figure out more information about them.
Yeah, as you mentioned that, I do see Momushi kind of being that kind of conniving type of character where he's like he'll bring up Ada and Damon's backstory, probably how Amado captured them or some foolishness like that. I could
That's
actually
crazy.
see that happening.
I'll be fired, to be honest. One of the biggest things about Aiden and Damon is we haven't necessarily seen or got dived too much into their backstory. And I think again, this arc right here is likely going to be the time that we actually do. Imagine if we get like an actual chapter of like, I don't know if you remember this, but we had like a chapter of Kawaki's backstory. That could be a similar thing that we get from Damon and Ada as well.
Yeah, true. It could be like at the start of the chapter, like maybe for like I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 pages, and then either Ada or Damon wake up from the quote unquote nightmare.
Yeah, I wish. Don't get me started. I wish, man. Then when the anime comes back, we just get a full episode of that incredible animation as
Bro,
well.
I'm telling you, man. Just like that Kawaki episode, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Yo, we haven't had you on a long time, so I think that the last time we have you on was prior to TBV.
Oh, really? It's been that long?
I
Are
don't
we
think it
sure?
couldn't. Yeah, it couldn't have been that possible.
I think so.
And
So
big. That was over 2 years ago. Nah, I'm pretty sure we had my guy on.
yeah, we
I
had
mean, I was on that. It was either last month or the month before. I think Mello was streaming, and
Mm,
I was
mm,
on that stream for a bit
mm.
with you guys. But I guess that wasn't really like a Cloud Ninja podcast, but you get the point.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Mm.
what's it called? The Walkie Talkie podcast, right?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, yeah, it's the same. It's the same one that you guys took forever to to get me put me on stage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Nah, I wasn't there. I don't
Um,
know. I'd have got you up there. I'd have got you up ASAP. I'd
I
be
don't know what chapter we left you on. But as far as the like Shinju arc, how you feeling about it?
like
Well,
a
as a
rating
kind
type
of,
thing.
oh,
If you'd rate it 1 to 10, how would what would you give it?
wait. Are we considering the arc, or I guess at this point the saga? What, like from chapter 1 till now?
I do consider this whole entire thing just one arc. Honestly,
Mm,
Yeah.
um, I guess that's just the same as just me giving a rating to Two Blue Vortex on a whole, essentially. I would say I think like a 7.5 to a 8. I think that's a fair rating for Two Blue Vortex so
Yeah.
far, to be honest. Yeah, like a 7.5 to a 8. It's been pretty good. Most chapters get good ratings from me, to be honest. It's engaging. The pacing is great. I love the fights feel the fights feel dynamic. Um, I think even more so than part one, Boruto, from a manga perspective, of course,
Oh yeah,
naturally.
for sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
because that's been like one of my biggest issues in the Boruto era. The fights don't feel as dynamic as I'd want them to be. But yeah, Two Blue Vortex feels nice, dynamic. I mean, I love the character designs. I love the escalating confusion with the Shinjus, but at the same time, one again, the lack of legacy characters, and not just lack for lack's sake. It just doesn't make sense that they're not there. Two, while
Facts.
I like Boruto, but I think there's still something missing
Mhm.
from I love the Uchiha energy he's embodying. I love I
Mhm.
love his strength. I love that he's doing stuff, he's pushing the plot forward, he's getting stuff done. But I feel like I can still connect with him more as a character, right? From the perspective, especially like with the whole omnipotence deal, where it's like, oh, you're supposed to lose everything, quote unquote, and didn't really. I mean, it happened, but at the same time, it still feels like it's not really a big deal from the perspective of how Boruto, is reacting to everything, which is kind of why I want him to not necessarily like parade in the village for chapter 25 and beyond, but I kind of want him to go to the Uzumaki household. Let's have that 3 pages of let's see a bit of sadness. Let's put him in a situation where we can empathize with him a bit more, like something outside just the badassery and the fighting, something to just connect with him more. I think that's still kind of missing from Two Blue Vortex. um and I mean, there's still my concerns about the escalating power scaling without context. There's that too. So I think those are my issues with Two Blue Vortex, which would kind of put it down to a 7.5 to a 8. But overall, yeah.
Hmm. And one of the things I like to do is like I like to compare at the time frame where we are in comparison to like what Naruto was doing. So let's say Naruto Shippuden, I believe 2 years in the manga, Orochimaru just got assassinated by Sasuke. I personally say I'd prefer Naruto Shippuden up until that point, but then again, we haven't really seen the Boruto manga. I'm not the Boruto anime, so I do want to temper my my commentary on that for right now. Yeah. So what would you prefer? The storyline up until Sasuke versus Orochimaru, where he pretty much assassinates Orochimaru.
Let me see. Thinking about funny enough, I think 2 years. I think 2 years into Shippuden, I think it still puts it beyond there. To be honest,
Oh, really?
because I think Shippuden starts at chapter 250, give or take,
Yeah,
or
pretty around that.
246.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I pretty much had 245. That's the math I was doing.
yeah, and if
Pretty
you
much.
put like 100 chapters on that, give or
Mhm,
take,
yeah,
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 300.
345.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you do really and truly get to Sasuke killing Orochimaru. Yeah. Right. Um. Yeah. I think I definitely prefer. I think I do like the progression over those 2 years with Shippuden a bit more than I guess 2 years into Two Blue Vortex so far, because I mean we had Naruto coming back to the village, we had the Kasakage retrieval, we had Tenchi Bridge, Four Tails action, Four Tails hype, we had reuniting with Sasuke, we had what Rasen Shuriken training, Hidan Kakuzu, amazing arc with Shikamaru.
Oh yeah.
Sasuke killing Orochi. Yeah. That was some crazy times, bro. To be
Yeah,
honest.
pretty much. And to be honest, don't get me wrong, Boruto had some amazing moments as well. Like Boruto versus Cold. That was like one of the first coldest things we've seen.
Bro, that was insane, bro. All right, that was sad. That was sad.
Yeah, Boruto versus Mitsuki. I thought that was elite, even though Mitsuki didn't really didn't really touch Boruto. Yeah, Boruto had some good moments, but I'd still say Naruto. I guess this could probably go back to my. This could be points against my Boruto homerism, because I did say part 1 Boruto for sure. I got that one. Part 1 Naruto, all due respect. So part 2 I got Naruto. Part 2 I got Naruto.
But
up till now,
we gotta get Blue TBV his chance to shine.
Yeah, man, definitely.
It could possibly, I don't know, I'm not going like jump the gun. It could possibly be better than Naruto. In hindsight,
the story isn't written. I remember asking this question. I think during the first year, and the first year it was just like the Hidan and Kakuzu thing that wasn't fully finished. We didn't necessarily see the Shikamaru thing, but it compares into Boruto. We seen Boruto versus Cold, Boruto versus Mitsuki, and then we seen the Shinji, the whole situation. I thought up to that point Boruto was more interesting, but if we're taking 2 years now, I'd probably have Naruto. Who knows where we're going to be in 3 years? It might be Boruto again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kind of tuning in back to the stream on the client side, just looking back in the chat. I see Zion here asking you guys to ask me what's wrong with the power scaling using another character other than Sarada. I don't know if you guys would, if I could talk on that a bit more for Zion, if that's if that's all right.
Rock out.
Yeah, man. So don't get it twisted, you know. I don't want to. It's not black and white, really and truly, to say like there's 100% like an issue with the power scaling. It's more of a concern that we're on a slippery slope, and if it continues, then it would be a problem. But other than Sarada, right? Like I already see persons saying like, okay, yo, Konohamaru blocks Idari Shidori with this. Oh, Konohamaru is beyond X level, for example, right? They would probably put him up there and probably put Mitsuki up there as well. The issue isn't how strong the characters are. The issue is how strong the characters are without context, right? Because again, for example, I think this is a good example, even though it might be an exaggeration. If you're watching Naruto, right? And Naruto goes off to train with Jiraiya for the 2.5 to 3 years, right? And when Naruto comes back, he beats Kaguya. Tell me how does that sound to you on paper? You see, that's the issue, really and truly. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. But when you really do the power scale from, say, Madara and Hashram in their time up to how strong the characters should be for the plot in Two Blue Vortex, it's basically that's the jump in power people want to tell me Sarada made based on what she did. And I'm saying is there's no issue with the jump, but I need context for it because it doesn't make sense. What did she do in 3 years to make that jump in power?
Yeah, great question.
That's all I'm saying. And I think my examples, for example, Naruto beating Kaguya after training with Jiraiya is like a perfect example of the issue. And if it continues going like that, You're
I
gonna tell me
mean,
next arc that Chocho beats Ten Tails Madara too?
Obito was able to go against what's his name, Minato, after 2 years. He only has 2 years of training.
Yeah, but but you can at least you have some context with that
Hmm.
as at least. I mean, you have some Hashirama cells. You have, and remember, I did throw in the disclaimer that in the Naruto universe, even if you're stronger, if you have a hacks, you can more than likely beat someone stronger than you. So I throw that disclaimer into the ring as well. But in terms of the Obito thing, I mean, Hashirama cells, Kamui,
Hmm.
um, I mean,
Yeah, no.
quote unquote training from Madara, quote unquote. So yeah, so there's at least some context, but with Sarada, there's no context, is what I'm saying. So that's the issue.
Yeah, and I pretty much said if you give, let's say, a Jonin, and you could argue Obito at that particular point after the training was a Jonin, was kind of Jonin level. Once he unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan, I could see how it then brings him close to Minato. I can't see how the Mangekyo Sharingan brings Sarada closer to the likes of like Jigen. I just can't see that. I can't see that.
Exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. It makes no sense with that
It,
jumping
it,
forward,
it's,
bro.
it's arguments that she inherited the Sage's Despise power.
I mean, that's speculation. I mean, we can assume that, but I mean, it's just assumptions at that point. It's not like with say Himawari, where in an actual interview, Ikimoto would have said on the official Naruto website that is like he points out Himawari's genetic heritage being synergetic, having a synergetic effect with Kurama. We don't have any like backing like that with Sarada, and then Sarada herself isn't even full Uchiha. So
And she was having trouble with the two Tomo Sharingan. She was bleeding, or with the one Tomo Sharingan, she was bleeding. So it's like, and all of a sudden she's just wielding the manga Sharingan like this. I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. It was in her lineage.
Yeah, what I will say to answer the comments' question, yeah, what's it called? Forgot his name. What you just said? Damn it, I forgot his name.
as in the chat or
Yeah, Konohamaru. Yeah,
oh,
Konohamaru reacting.
Kurama.
Konohamaru reacting to I forgot who he reacted to, but that's one of the biggest arguments for Mello as to why Konohamaru can be a Kage. And I have to accept it, but I just don't know how he got there. It's like how is he reacting to God level characters? I absolutely no idea. And you guys brought up a great point. Or no, Sanji brought up a great point with Chocho. I'm watching Team 10 with a Hawkeye. They should
Bro,
not be doing
I'm
anything.
telling you, next arc, Chocho and team are going to do some stuff against the Shinju,
Stop it.
and then
Stop.
on Twitter, bro, they're gonna start saying Chocho greater than 10 Tails Madara, and then you guys are gonna come back to me and say, "Yo, Sanjay, you were right, dog. This is madness." Yes, so I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Bro, they got to be very careful with Team 10. What I want to see is Team 10 be brave, get themselves into a situation where they're going to die because obviously they should be significantly weaker, and then Himawari saves them. It should be just like the Inojin thing. That's how it should be. Pretty much.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's crazy,
But
bro. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But before we dip, I did have to want to ask you about about the next arc. Do you
Yeah, man.
see him? Do you see Himawari potentially joining the Mamushi versus Bug and Ada, Mamushi versus Damon and Ada fight?
No, I actually see probably. Well, I'm hoping I wouldn't mind Sumeri join that fight. I
What
wouldn't.
would Sune do?
That's the thing. I don't know, but I think it's time for them to do more with her than just the lab assistant slash love triangle madness. The melodrama. No pun
Yeah.
intended, mellow. But yeah, I think it would be nice and maybe Sarada and Sumer kind of have their arcs kind of tied to, I guess, Ada, and I guess by extension Damon's ultimate feats. So maybe they can get involved, right? And just to kind of even tie things back to the whole power scaling discussion, I think it would be really good because, for example, right now Zion is following up and asking me, so if I want them to show training, etc. Because Didn't they already say Konohamaru trained in Two Blue Vortex during the time skip? I don't think they said it, but obviously it's implied based on the fact that he has this new type of Rasengan shield. But the point I was going to bring up with the whole Sumere and Sorada situation against joining in is that I need to see characters like Konohamaru and Sorada in more situations with their new abilities, because one thing I think that might be happening, even though there's a strong case to say, yo, these characters are just that strong now, I want to put them in different situations and see if they crack under different types of pressure. If their moments of greatness were really just situational before, that type of situation. Because I've said before that, yeah, Sarada beat Ryu, but I mean, if you put her up against another character, I mean, would she still perform as well? And then I guess on paper you could easily say yes, but we don't know that until the limits of her abilities are really tested, right? And
True.
then
Like hypothetically, would she do well against Himawari, who can fly? I guess.
Who knows? Or one example I gave when I was just talking about the power scaling is that, for example, she has her gravity abilities, right? As soon as she beat Ryu, she basically lost consciousness. So maybe the chakra usage for her is just that crazy. So I was saying, people are already putting her above all of Shippuden, all of that. But what if you put her against like a Pin, just for argument's sake, just bear with me. Okay, if Arazawa, Chibaku Tensei, whatever the case may be, probably counteracts her gravity. If you were to try to write this in a kind of creative way, and Pain outlasts her via like chakra expenditure, right? Because she's gonna run out of chakra more than likely before Pain. I would imagine. So at that point, do you reconsider the power scale? At that point, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. No idea. You have to, I guess. What's it called? Galaxy in the chat. He's essentially saying that it's because Sarada's base is so strong. He kind of compared it to Goku, saying Super Saiyan Goku in Dragon Ball Super is not the same as Super Saiyan Goku from Dragon Ball Z, and I completely understand that.
Yeah.
To be honest, the bigger question we asked earlier is, how did her base get that strong?
Yeah. That's the thing. I think the persons in the chat are kind of misunderstanding me and thinking I hate the power scale and I think there's a problem. Our problem with the characters being this strong. I don't have an issue. I just need context, fam. Again, the biggest example the biggest hypothetical I could give is if, all right, even better, Naruto leaves the village without Jiraiya for 2 years, and he comes back and he beats Kaguya. You can assume he trained, but I mean, what did he do?
Yeah.
Part 1, Naruto leaves the village for 2 years and comes back and beats Kaguya.
Yeah.
What did he do?
To me, this is the same thing. I honestly had a problem with Boruto because I had the prediction that's kind of famous with my guy Melo in Free Game. I said that he'd probably be like, he wouldn't be stronger than Hashirama. I said that. But now all of a sudden he's stronger than Unlimited Code. He's like one-shotting him. Don't get me wrong, with Uzuhiko is kind of crazy. But once that dropped, I'm like, well, how did he get this strong? But then they filled in the backstory. Hey, he trained with Kashin Koji. He went 2 years training with Sasuke. Sasuke told him everything he knows.
Exactly.
That backstory filled it in. And now we're cool with it. But how did Sarada get to, I guess, Jonin level? And now she's reacting to Hidari's Shidori.
Yeah, because even when Two Blue Vortex just started, me and Melo did a collab video. We were talking about how strong Boruto potentially was, and some of the arguments I was putting out is that, okay, apart from, in hindsight, now that we know the flashback, but training with Sasuke, as you said, training with Kashin Koji, but I was also adding in the fact that being 100% Otsutsuki, if he even want to take out the karma boost, right? But the fact that he's 100% Otsutsuki, like it's like a Otsutsuki it's like Gohan that trains essentially. Boruto was already a genius, and you add on the Otsutsuki potential in that DNA and make him train for 3 years. I'm just saying it makes sense why Boruto is that powerful with all the factors. But I'm just not getting any factors for why Sarada is that strong. I mean, and again, I will say, the her Mangekyo Sharingan ability is hacks. So just remember that disclaimer that in that I'm throwing out there. I acknowledge it's the Naruto universe. If you have something hacks,
It's kind
you
of
can keep
like
up.
it's kind of like the Chubako Tensei that Pain used, like that little spear.
Yeah, but of course, the her Mangekyo ability, I would say more efficient, more efficient.
I was just um making comparisons
Yeah.
because it was a gravity ball.
Yeah, or it's
Hmm.
for a fact. Yeah, I just think we just need more context. Oh, I'd be fine.
Exactly.
And for context, my stance has always been, even if they pull some BS, I'm fine with Sarah to being this powerful because I think her character deserves to be up there with the upper echelons. But I think it would do the series a justice to explain and come up with a good reasoning as to now how she is this strong. Even if you say scientific technology, and I think a lot of large swaths of the Naruto or OG Naruto fan base would probably hate that. Even if you just pull that, I'd accept it. I'd say okay.
uh Zion here posting a question. If he thinks he's asking if I think being a hybrid Uchiha makes you weaker than a regular Uchiha. Or is it like Dragon Ball where hybrids are stronger? Um that's the thing.
They
It's
gotta stay stronger
possible.
now. Yeah, they gotta stay stronger
I,
now.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. I don't know. Unless they're gonna like retroactively say, "Oh, there was something special about Sakura's bloodline or something." But I think our people are just regular, to be honest. But you see, this is the thing. Even with Dragon Ball with the hybrids, we even had the scene where Vegeta and Nappa before they came to her, they were saying, "Oh, it seems like probably hybrids have higher potential." Even a throwaway line like that is more context than what we're getting with Sarada right now. So
Mm.
I don't know. To be honest, Zion, I don't know. It could be possible, but when it comes down to the history of Naruto and this universe, there is no like foundation or indication or prior experience of that being the case. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was one where Itachi, like his girlfriend was a hybrid
That that
and he killed
that's in the
her.
novel or something. No,
I
but
think it's
Mm,
he's
like
talking.
the
yeah,
filler episodes, right? Whether then the
yeah, I
she had
think
like
it
brown hair,
was. Yeah, I think it was filler. Chat.
but even if it was filler, I think it could still kind of be, well, because it's not canon, but it still could kind of be taken into consideration. But again, because it was filler, they could change it. I guess but my idea is if they just say no, that has nothing to do with why Sara is that strong. They got to come up with some sort of reason.
I
Now,
mean, she is Uchiha and Senju, so that makes could some.
uh, I'm
No,
still not even sure.
I don't know
The
about the
thing
Senju part,
The
man.
the Senju is
you
a
talking about through
derivative from the
Haruno clan?
Nah, we're
no
just
no no
spouting
no no
madness here
no
now.
no 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 hold on. She
Oh, because
was
Sasuke is part stage
she
six
was the
pack.
first Hokage's granddaughter. He was a Senju.
No, that's Tsunade.
No, that's not it, man.
That's what I'm saying, Tsunade.
No, but
But how does Sarda now get
we're
the?
talking about Sarada and like if being half Uchiha
Yeah,
deserves her.
okay.
So
So Sakura is not.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
uh,
Yeah, one
I
of the things that
always thought that was her daughter.
yeah one of the things that Mello was talking about, and this
mhm.
could be the case. Uchihas use the reason why Uchihas get as strong as they do, or one of the things that gets them that strong. I talked about the Zenkai boost earlier is the emotional toll that they take. And Sarda, because she grew up in a time of peace, she could be a lot more sensitive to like the violence around her, which is probably why her Mangekyo Sharingan got activated a lot more easier than let's say Itachi's, where he had to like literally push Obito off a bridge. Like so, and not only that, not just the Mangekyo Sharingan appearing, but pretty much bunch of like tiny power boosts could have possibly happened just because of the pain that she felt. And like for example, like there's a time with Boruto and Kawaki the flipping. I think that right there was probably like a big moment. Of course, the manga Shaman fucked up, but also the fact throughout the time skip, she's essentially been telling people no, Boruto isn't evil, and no one's really believing her. And I think that right there could potentially contribute to her pain and power growth. Also, the fact that again Kawaki's like being hailed as well. She probably hates Kawaki. That could probably be contributing to her power growth as well. And not only that, the fact that she's actually like immune to omnipotence. One of the things that they talked about was, or Momoshiki specifically, was the people who really suffer from omnipotence is the people who aren't captivated by it. And I think all that pain from Sarada could just be contributing to her power growth. I still want them to say it though. I still want them to say
no,
it.
I mean they're kind of all right. I would probably go on a limb and say this retroactive that she probably has been getting a passive power boost over the 3 years, because she herself has kind of admitted that she's been kind of suppressing a lot of feelings, and she's kind of reached a stage where she's kind of letting go. So yeah, like at this point when she beat Ryu, like apart the Mangekyo aside, I would imagine like just letting go the gates and all those feelings, she does get out like a massive boost. But I could probably go on a limb and say, yeah, maybe in hindsight, maybe she has been getting that massive boost from suppressing all of those things that she said she was holding back, between the whole love with Boruto, the whole, everything she said, you guys know. But yeah, you bring up a good point. Maybe the fact that she is immune to omnipotence, maybe when they do eventually explore why, it could probably retroactively explain how she got that strong in 3 years. Mm-hmm. But we can only say that if and when that time comes. That's the thing. True. So until then, so it still comes back. So we still need more context. So,
and I would say my experience in watching anime, I can't necessarily jump to conclusions and call this completely B. That's one of the things. I think arguably my favorite anime of all time, Attack on Titan, had me basically slandering the first 3 chapters until chapter 4 came out and explained everything. So it could be like that with Sarada as well.
It could be. I'm not going to deny that. So I personally I am hoping we do get the explanation to kind of tie this up in a nice clean bow. And it's like, oh, in hindsight, it makes sense why X and Y happened. No, So I'm hoping for it.
Fact those. I guess we could probably end off with, I guess, short, concise. What are your predictions for next chapter?
For me, well, I mean, we already have that one promotional image for for them basically releasing Moegi. So still would want to see Boruto probably at the Uzumaki residence, looking at Himawari from afar before he teleports back to Kashin Koji, and they'll probably argue it out about his decisions. Reviving Moegi, and we'll get the nuance of what it means to get revived. Shit, it's kind of hard to predict.
Yeah, the Thorn Soul Ball for Ryu, that was retrieved by Sarada, right? It's a blur at this point.
Yeah, it is kind of. I think Mitsuki might have it. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Shinki. Yeah, Konan got more. We understand which bulb he got. Come on, man. Well, yeah, so I'm hoping Shinki comes back alive. My idea was a cliffhanger at the end of the chapter with a Mamushi confronting Ada and Damon. I think that would be elite. I think that would be like the start of the next big arc, or a saga. I guess I don't know what you call it.
It would be interesting as well if but it would make sense, but let me say it. It would be interesting as well if one of the reasons why Juro wasn't really invested in getting back this Thorn Soul bulb is that maybe after they almost got Hidari's one, I'm wondering if he could have potentially put like a failsafe or a trap in the Thorn Soul bulb. So once the person is revived, something else happens. I don't know. That could be interesting. But the reason I also say it wouldn't make any sense because Kashin Coach would have already seen the future and know that it should work. But I'm just saying.
True. What do you think, Free? And what's your predictions for next chapter?
I think it's gonna be a cool down period. Like I think they are gonna go back together and relay their information to the Hokages.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure.
it's gonna be a heavy dialogue episode because we got a lot of action.
Yeah, I think it would
Yeah,
make sense as well, free game, for them to have like some political discourse, like we were saying earlier.
yeah, I hope so too. Again, I want to see how they feel about Boruto, their reactions. Even if they talk about Boruto, like would they even discuss that they had Boruto's help? Like I don't know.
Oh boy.
They might just say, "Nah, Sarada and Konohama, they cooked up. They cooked up." This is crazy.
Yeah, Boruto probably will want that.
He probably, yeah, probably it's just to not cause any problems. But again, the quotes that just keep sticking with me is Ada telling Sarada the best thing that Boruto could do is create brand new memories, and like that's all. That's the only thing he's been doing. Like, so if he becomes like, let's say, the fully finished version of Itachi, like the person who massacred the Uchiha clan, but he stayed alive after the war, and we realized that he helped the war arc so much that everybody now just loves Itachi again, and he's welcome back to the Hidden Leaf Village. If Boruto could become that version of Itachi, I'd love it. I love it.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. So is that it?
Yep. Yeah, pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, it should be
Hey,
fun.
Sanjay, thank you for joining us.
Mhm.
Everybody out there, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're reading it, if you're watching this in the future. But yeah, you have a last night. Peace.
Yeah, facts. Good looks for giving us
Oh,
3 hours, Sanjay. Too. Good
oh,
looks. It was long.
subscribe to Sanjay Uchiha. I'm gonna leave it
Yeah,
in the description.
yeah, I'm playing Expedition 33, so trying to complete that. So that should be fun.
Oh, it's not quick. Do you watch football? I guess, or we call it soccer. You watch European football?
I think we did talk about this before. Not
Oh, damn.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, only like if like a brethren like forwards and then like, oh,
Uh,
yo, Arsenal is playing Arsenal, and me watch the match, or if it's the cliche World Cup time, then fine. But other than that, nah, not really.
oh, okay. I feel you. All right. All right, partner.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
cool. Thanks for pulling up. Again, 3 hours. Yeah, thanks for giving us 3 hours of your time, partner. I know ain't
Yeah,
like.
be safe.
Oh,
Be safe.
but what time is it over there in Jamaica?
It's 11:30 right now.
Oh, yeah, so you're like an
Oh,
hour
not too
behind me. Yeah.
late. Yeah, it's 9. I need to go to sleep. But
Yeah,
yeah,
work
I
in the
catch
morning.
you. Me too. So I'll catch y'all later.
All
All right,
right,
guys.
partners.
Respect. We'll talk.
All right, peace, chat.
Mhm.